Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, it's been 7 all week.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ishmael Stadium here on the campus of Lexington Lafayette. Gary Ball with Mike Meehan and also William Warfield, the King of Stream, as we're set for high school football. That's right, high school football kicking off tonight. It's Louisville Male, the defending state champions, coach, in 6A football. They really had an outstanding football team last year. Of course, we remember Keon Wakefield. We remember Shelton, the quarterback, and all the guys they had at Male. Matter of fact, they've got a 21-game win streak. You can see on the graphic there, 21-game winning streak. They won the 6A title. That was their 7th state championship. They also, Coach Meehan, finished number 8 in the United States of America. Pretty good when you got a team that, like Louisville Male, that finishes in the top 10 in the country. Sorry about all these papers up here, Coach, but I tell you what do you expect here in this scrimmage between Louisville Male and Lafayette?
Well, first of all, Gary, it's really, really great to be back to football season with you and William Warfield and PrepSpin. This is just a real pleasure to be able to do this on HD quality video. I mean, it's just amazing. Well, let me tell you something. It's a scrimmage. You know, it's a scrimmage. You don't really know what's going to happen. Coaches want to protect their skilled players.
Yes, sir.
If they feel like Walker Wood is getting under too much pressure, they may pull him. There's going to be a lot of work with the offensive lines to make sure that they've got their blocks correctly. Neither team's going to show everything they can. We won't see much of a kicking game, if any of a kicking game. I guess, and the big thing is the weather. It's warm. It's humid. We want to push these kids a little bit. They want to be careful with their health too. But I'm expecting Male to open up, to really throw the ball around, run the inside zone. We'll talk about that more as the game goes on. And Lafayette, gosh, what can you say about Lafayette? They're loaded again.
You know, we talked about Male and their finish last year, Coach. The quarterback this year will be T.J. Thomas. He's a senior, and everybody says, well, what happened? Well, Shelton graduated. Thomas did start in a couple of playoff games last year, so he's got some experience, Coach. He threw for 627 yards last year and 6 touchdowns, so he's a kid that has seen the field at Louisville Male. And, of course, on the other side, you got one of the best quarterbacks in the state, if not the best, in Walker Wood, who's headed to the University of Kentucky, the senior sensation for Lexington Lafayette.
Right. Now, Lexington and Lafayette was in a lot of games last year, and Walker Wood, you know, he really had to show what he has as far as a runner and a passer.
Yes, sir.
Now, on the other hand, quarterback for Male, I think they won, 9 of their games or 8 of their games by 27 points or more.
Yes, sir.
So chances are there wasn't a whole lot of pressure when he was on the field. So we'll see. We'll see how they match up.
In this game, for you folks watching on PrepSpin, you are going to see some of the best talent in the state of Kentucky, especially on the Lafayette side of the football. When you look at Jedrick Wills, a 6'5", 315-pound senior tackle, he has been recruited by everybody. When I say everybody, I'm talking the Alabamas of the world, the Auburns, the Floridas, you name it. They're all after Jed Wills because he goes to those camps. He's a 5-star player, Coach, and he's probably right now, at least the last stat I looked at, the lone 5-star player in the state of Kentucky right now. But you throw in Walker Wood, who's getting 3 and 4 stars, and then you throw in Alex Simpson, who's getting 3 and 4 stars, the other tackle. You've got a wealth of talent in this game for Lafayette and for Male.
Right. And we're going to look at, you and I both are going to look at Jedrick Wills tonight and kind of evaluate what we see. If you're a 5-star offensive lineman, what they're judging that on are about 3 things.
Yes, sir.
Number 1, how quick you get off the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. Number 2, your feet. You know, it's the biggest thing is your feet, how you set your feet, how you can pass block and run block, etc. And then the third thing is attitude and how hard you work.
You know, you look at Louisville Male and their wide receivers. They had Keon Wakefield. He's at Louisville now. Matter of fact, all of their starters, their 20 starters, Male lost. 16, Coach, are playing college football this fall. So that tells you about the talent the number 8 ranked team in the country of Louisville Male had last year. But the cupboard's not bare. B.K. Smith is a 180-pound senior wide receiver, and they said he really opened eyes this summer in those camps they have, Coach. Eastern Kentucky, right down the road here in Richmond, has already offered a young man. And then on the defensive side of the football, a name we'll call a lot tonight will be Stephon Mays, the Mike linebacker, Coach. He had 45 tackles last year, 16 of those, Coach, for losses, 4 sacks. He's 6'2", 225, runs a 4.6 40, Coach, and he's already got a dozen D1 offers, and Eastern Illinois is chomping at the bit to get the young man.
And I think other people will be looking at him as time goes on, too. That Mike linebacker or middle linebacker, His job is to get to the football and make the tackles. The defensive linemen cover up or hold up the offensive lineman from getting to him, and he's free a lot of the times. But his job is not to fall for any fakes, to scrape, to get to the line of scrimmage, and to make tackles. And last year, they ran a defense which was Texas Christian's defense, which is a 4-2-5 defense. I'm really interested in seeing if they come back with that same defense this year.
And, Coach, we talked about Walker Wood, the quarterback. When you look at the running games for both these football teams, Lafayette and for Louisville Male, Male has Davion Higgs, 8 touchdowns last year, and a quarter of a mop-up role last year because they had the great running back Gentry, if you recall, last year. Higgs, the junior, is going to lead them this year. And they also have Aaron Dean Thomas, who they're going to count on a lot, the senior this year. So those are your running backs you're going to hear a lot tonight for the Male Bulldogs when they run the football. Though I agree with Coach. I think they're really opening up here tonight. I think we're going to be calling a lot of names like McCauley, the ex-receiver, Ethan Bibb, a wideout, Tyler Ritchie, and as I said, B.K. Smith. On the other side of the football, Lexington Lafayette, they will counter with Javarius Ballhead Robinson. That's right. His nickname's Ballhead. I don't know what that's about, but that's his nickname. And Cameron Morgan. And, Coach, you and William and I were at the Henry Clay Lafayette game last year when Ballhead Robinson bolted onto the scene. Remember that game where they rushed for over 600 yards? And I think Walker Wood had 200 plus, and I think the other great back, Mason Allstat, had 200 plus last year. And then it was Robinson who burst on the scene in that game as well.
I think that was the game that really, caught them on fire or whatever, and they realized that they had a real special football team. Well, we talked to Boosters Club presidents here tonight that came in and Booster representatives, and they actually talked about how excited they are with this football team, that they're loaded, that they're ready to play football. And with Coach Shaw and his staff, I'll tell you what, they're going to be pretty good.
You're watching this game tonight in high definition with the King of Stream, William Warfield, Coach Mike Me, and I'm Gary Ball. We'll come back and take a look at the starting lineups and have the football action here tonight. It's Ishmael Stadium, campus of Lafayette here. The White Greer Maggard High School Football Game of the Week. We'll be back.
White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White Greer and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White Greer and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No.
Sorta you isn't you. White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Kentucky's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Kentucky High School Athletic Association and the Kentucky High School Athletic Directors Association.
Welcome back to Ishmael Stadium. Gary Ball with Coach Mike Meehan and William Warfield, the King of Stream, as you watch it in high definition tonight on PrepSpin. We'll be with you all season long. The regular season opens up next Friday night. Coach Meehan will be out of town. Bill Ransdale will join me over at Lexington Catholic for the Boone County. How about my Rebels of Boone County come traveling to Lexington to take on the Knights next Friday night?
I think that's why I'm out of town, because I don't want to see you cry, Gary Ball. I really don't.
I know. The Rebels have fallen hard, haven't they,
Oh,
Coach?
and they used to be unbelievable. unbelievably good.
Hard times, but that'll be Catholic's opener. We'll have that, and then next Saturday we'll be over at the Roy Kidd Bowl in Madison Central for the doubleheader over there. So all that coming up. Just go to PrepSpin. Well, you're on PrepSpin. Just as you're going down there, you can see all the games we got coming up here on PrepSpin. Tonight it's Louisville Male, one of the top teams in the United States of America last year. Number 8 in the country they finished last year undefeated. And, Coach, when you look at the record that Coach Wolf has at Louisville Male and what he's done, look at the record he's done against the powerhouses. When we talk about Louisville, Trinity, and St. X, he has won 9 out of the last 10 matchups, 4 in a row against St. X and 5 out of the last 6 against Trinity. That's remarkable.
It is remarkable, and they were so untouchable before, both of those teams. And once a team like Male gets underneath their skin and other teams realize that they're not totally unbeatable, I'll tell you what, things could turn around, because I would love to see Lexington football turn around.
Here are some of the starters. What turned around last year with 2 teams going to the state championships, with Lafayette being in that 6A title game against this Male team. So if you're wondering when these 2 teams last met, besides this scrimmage here tonight, they played back in early December in the state championship, and Male got them 41-14. Let's take a look at the starters for Lafayette. Will Bischoff, what an outstanding center, Coach. It all kind of starts in the middle there with Will Bischoff, the center, doesn't it?
It's up the middle. The center, the quarterback, and the running back pretty much control what goes on.
It'll be Dejon Thomas at a guard, a 6'3", 290 senior. Right guard, Alston Miller. This is Lafayette's offensive line, 5'10", 230 and a senior. And those big tackles we talked about, big bookends, if you will. Alex Simpson, 6'5", 310-pound senior, Division I tackle. He's on the left side, big 72. And big Jed Wills, 6'5", 315 senior, one of the top linemen in the country. 5-star recruit. Alabama's already offered. And, Coach, you know when the Alabamas of the world come knocking, you must be pretty darn good.
You must be pretty darn good, and they're looking at him carefully. But again, the size is amazing for this Lafayette football team.
Yeah, you look at their backups. Caudell's 30. Big Braden is 300 pounds. Jeff Black is 290. Hall, the backup center, is 275. These are backups I'm giving here, Coach. Markham, the right guard, is 265. And Reese, the backup tackle to Wills, is 265. That's your backups on the Lafayette offensive line. The tight end will be Matthew Guilfoyle, and I think Guilfoyle will have a big game here tonight, Coach, because as you know, as I always say, what do I say, Coach? The tight end is always open.
Yep.
And he's a 6'1", 195 junior. This is Lafayette. Wide receivers, Quentin Brown. And, Coach, I don't think there's any question Brown's one of the best receivers in the Commonwealth coming back this year.
Good hands, goes back to the football, makes good decisions on his routes. Absolutely.
And Zach Sherman, the senior wide receiver, is going to be a good one, too. Walker Wood, your UK commitment, 6', 185 senior. And, Coach, what people say about Mr. Wood is he's a gamer.
Yeah.
I mean, he just wins, you know?
In the Old West movies and TV shows, there was always 2 gunslingers. Mm-hmm. The bad gunslinger with the black hat and the good gunslinger with the white hat.
Yes, sir.
I call Walker Wood the good gunslinger with the white hat.
He's got the white hat on. Javarius Robinson, the young man I already referenced, the senior 180-pounder running back. He'll get the ball a lot tonight. Cameron Morgan will back him up. And Daquan Edwards is your other wide receivers. As we looked at Lafayette warming up here, as the captains are meeting now, coming to talk with the officials, they're going to treat this just like a regular season game, Coach, because the first half will be treated like that. Your starters pretty much will be out there for both ball clubs. Don't know about Walker Wood. We may see him only for maybe a couple of series of the first quarter, because they've got Dunbar in their opener next Friday night in the regular season, and they don't want to lose a player of the caliber of Walker Wood in a scrimmage game.
No, and you're right. And the coaches evaluate that too, and that, they look at that and they say, we know what he can do.
Yes.
We watched him last year go all the way to the state final.
He started here since he was a freshman.
Right. We know what he can do. We don't need to see him for a long period of time, but we really need to see the backups, because you never know when that guy's going to have to get off the bench and get in the game.
And Wills is a captain. Also Big Simpson, Alex Simpson's a captain. This is for Lafayette. Walker Wood and Ian Shaw, and I see big number 5 there is a captain as well, and that's Braden Lane, the senior strong linebacker. This is a Male's offense. I gave you Lafayette's offense, and this is Louisville Male, the team coming in with that 21-game winning streak, won the state championship last year, finished number 8 in the country. Andrew Arnold is your center, 250-pound senior. The guards are Brian Dickerson, 240-pound junior, and Dylan Miller, 255 junior. This is for Louisville Male, the Bulldogs. Dalton Gossett is a tackle, 240-pound senior. The other tackles, Bryce Bethel, 235-pound senior. The wide receivers, Reshawn McCauley, and McCauley's a 195-pound junior. Looking at the receivers in the backfield, Ethan Bibb is a wide out, junior, Tyler Ritchie's a junior wide receiver. Davion Higgs, and Coach, that Higgs name's familiar to UK fans. Of course, Mark Higgs back in the day, but Davion, no relation. But he's a good-looking junior. He's going to be the primary ball carrier for the Bulldogs this year. And looks like T.J. Thomas is going to win that starting quarterback job. There was a battle in preseason. I guess now the first game of the scrimmage of the regular season starting next week, you kind of go with your starter, don't you, Coach? And Thomas looks like he's won that over the junior Cameron Cheshire.
But Cheshire's going to get some looks. They have to look at both of these guys. They really were in a battle early.
B.K. Smith is the outstanding wide receiver for Male. Those are your starters. We'll check their defense for you when we find out with this coin toss here. The captains are meeting out at midfield. You see Louisville Male. They're in the white with the purple. And, Coach, you and I have gone down to Louisville and done the Male Manual rivalry game a few times for their Great American Rivalry Series. And your take on Louisville Male and Chris Wolf, why they've become such a power in football in Louisville in the last, really, 3 or 4 years.
Well, one of the reasons – to answer that question, Gary, is to look at them this year.
Yeah.
Here they used to run an offense. They've changed the offense to match these players. Now, they've lost a whole bunch of starters from last year.
Yes, sir.
They're going to renew everything. They're going to rebuild. But watch and see what they do. We're really going to look and see if they've made any adjustments.
And Male won the toss, so let's take a look very quickly at the Male defense because it looks like they deferred. They will start at nose tackle. Mike Mickens, the senior. Harrison Hobb, a defensive tackle. Defensive ends, Jalen Hill, Jacob Banta, 220-pounder. Hill, a 205-pounder. I tell you what, Coach, these are some good athletes here for Male. Stephon Mays is your outstanding Mike linebacker. Coach and I already talked about him, headed east. Well, Eastern Illinois has offered. Don't know that Mr. Mays is committed there yet. And Nick Petlock, they look for Petlock to have a great senior season as well. Outside linebacker for Male will be Josiah Ford. And then looking at the corners, you got Nate Hobbs, and Coach, they simply call Nate Hobbs number 5 the lockdown defender on the team. So you look for him maybe to draw that assignment against Quentin maybe Brown, right?
That's what I would think. We'll see if they're going to run just a regular normal zone look or whether they are going to switch back and forth and try to lock him down.
Free safety will be Robert Sheffield for Male. The strong safety, K.G. Jones, a 180-pounder. Deion Montgomery, they like his upside as well, the senior corner. Those are your starters for the Male Bulldogs. Gary Ball, Coach Mike, me, and we're just about set for football. It's 2 of the best teams in Kentucky in 6A, the biggest class. We went to 6 classes, several years ago, Coach. Used to be 4 classes and now 6A. And these 2 teams represent what was the 6A state championship last year. Lafayette with definitely the most returning starters from those teams last year. Male lost 16 starters off their ball club, Coach.
You know, there were what I would consider 3 tremendous football teams in the state championships last year. Male, Bowling Green,
yes, sir,
and that team from the mountains, buddy.
Belfry.
Oh, boy.
Belfry was a juggernaut. I mean, the way they dismantled a good Lexington Catholic team in that state championship just had to make a believer out of you. And it is going to be handled just like a game, and one of the best kickers in the state will tee it up. That's Eric Sorensen. So Sorensen will tee it up and kick it off for Male. Let's see, he'll drop back deep for the Lafayette Generals. Looks like Brown's going to be back there, Coach. And also dropping back with him is going to be Morgan, Cameron Morgan, number 24. He'll stand to the far side, Quentin Brown to the near, and Sorensen set. And Coach Sorensen, he can kick field goals, they say, from about 45, 50 yards.
Well, I would think he'd probably just kick it in the end zone here. I'm looking for a flag to see if we have any kind of a breeze.
Not much of a breeze. We're underway. Male and Lafayette. Here's the kick by Sorensen. It will be Brown at about the 8. Brown the 10. He's at the 15, 20. Brown's got a seam. He's at the 35. And Brown, nice return up to the 37. Nearly a 30-yard return by Quentin Brown there. Nice start there for the Lafayette Generals. Nice return by Quentin Brown.
Nice job. Number 8 jumped in there to make the tackle.
For Male and number 8, that would be Robert Sheffield.
Yeah, Sheffield.
So Sheffield helping out. I saw 43 get up as well. That was a Cox, Darius Cox. Here comes the Lafayette on the return by Brown on the kick from Sorensen. And Lafayette here opening up with Louisville Male, the defending state champs here in the scrimmage game. 37-yard line. That's where Walker Wood will generate with triple receivers out to the top, 2 slots to the bottom. He's out of the shotgun. Wood looking left. Walker pump fakes, looks back toward the middle. He's got his tight end, and he's going to take it up to the 48. And, Coach, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Guilfoyle, the tight end, I say it all the time, he's always open. Pickup of 11 and a first down.
Yeah, nice little curl up the field, exactly 11 yards. Knew where the first down marker was. Mail's in a 4-man front. Looks like that they're trying to run that again. That same defense they ran last year, 4-2-5 look.
Sheffield made the stop there for the Mail defense. He's got 2 tackles already. Here's Javarius Robinson. Flag coming down as Javarius takes it into Mail territory, but I believe this is in the line of the offensive line in their vicinity with that flag, and may bring it back. But I tell you what, a good start for Lafayette, coach. They're looking sharp. Quentin Brown, nice return. 11-yard pass to Guilfoyle, but they're going to be pushed back here with the penalty.
Yeah, it's a holding penalty on one of the offensive linemen, and again, on a first running play like that, you can't ill afford to use that yardage after a first down on a great pass.
But I'll tell you what, you saw a good run there by Robinson, number 7. You know, he picked up about 4 or 5 hard yards, and that holding penalty is going to be huge. It'll take it back to the 39 where they originally started on this drive with the Quentin Brown 30-yard return. And now they're backed up first down, and let's call it about 17, 18 yards back at the 39. And Walker Wood sends motion now by Sherman. Wood, a little screen over the middle to Brown. He's at the 45. Brown, he's at midfield. Brown, the 45-40, and lowers that shoulder and run out of bounds finally by Sheffield at about the 40-yard line. So they pick up 20 yards to the 40-yard line of Mail. And I tell you what, things clicking right now, Coach, for Walker Wood and the Lafayette offense. And Quentin Brown showed what he could do with that yak the yards after the catch.
Yes, and that was an excellent play call. On the holding call, there was a lot of pressure pushed against the offensive line. That gave the defensive line confidence, and when they were let through, they kept going, and the screen was wide open. Nice job.
All this, Coach, and they haven't even taken a minute off the clock yet. Still over 11 minutes to go in this first period. Here's a handoff to Morgan. Morgan hit and driven back, and he's going to get a couple of yards.
There's that big linebacker.
Yeah, there to charge in there and get it. Like Ford helped out. And also Sheffield was in there. I tell you, Nick Petlock was in there as well, Coach. As you said, Coach, those linebackers very active. Morgan got the ball, and as soon as he got the handoff, he was met in that hole, but he was able to drive his legs and get up a couple of yards to the 38, 2nd and 8 now for Lafayette, opening drive of the ball game. Wood looks over triple receivers to the bottom, looks that way, now looks back, and Wood's going to step up. Wood dancing left, flips it. He's got a wide open receiver down at the 28, caught, and it's going to be a first down on a diving catch by who else? Sure-handed Matthew Guilfoyle.
Right, and not a great pass by Walker Wood that time. I think he's going to want that one back. He threw it a little short. That might have been 6 points if he could have let him down the field.
That's a very good point, Coach. I was about ready to say, but Guilfoyle called it. But you're right. If he'd have been able to lead Guilfoyle over his shoulder, he might have taken that all away. He was so open.
It's early. That's his first scramble of the year. We'll give him a break on that.
They got a first down inside the 30 to the Generals here on the opening drive. And here's a handoff.
Nice.
Wood's going to tuck it. Wood's at the 30, 25, and Wood's going to run out at about the 23, pick up 7. I tell you what, that's one thing that I really like about Walker Wood, Coach. He's a master with that football, faking that ball in the gut of Morgan, and half of Mail's defensive interior thought he had the football.
Yeah, he did a really nice job on the fake. I'm real curious whether that was a read, whether he was actually reading the defensive edge player, or whether that was a called play. And we'll look for it later in the game, and we'll kind of figure that one out.
Triple receivers out to the top for Walker Wood, and Robinson and Brown are to the bottom. Wood back to pass. Wood looking right side. Wood's going to roll to the right now. He's got time and blocking. Walker Wood scrambles, hit, and he's going to be pulled down back at the 29-yard line, and that's Stephon Mays, a young man we talked about in the pregame with those 16 tackles for loss last year. 225-pounder already been offered by Eastern Illinois.
I'll tell you who made that play, though. Number 80, Rafael Hidalgo. He contained that play. The last play, Walker Wood ran outside, got outside the edge. Not that time. Hidalgo said, "No, sir, you're not getting outside me." And then other people came in to make the tackle. Nice job. Nice defensive end play.
Third down and about 10 for Lafayette as they lose some yardage on that. Wood had it down inside the 25, lost about 6 on that one on that sack by Stephon Mays, the senior linebacker. I tell you what, how about this high school kid, 6'2", 225, 4.6 speed.
That's amazing.
Wood looking down the middle, fires it, and it's nearly picked off by Sheffield, and he holds his helmet like, how did I not come up with that? He looked like he was looking for Guilfoyle, who's become one of his primary targets, and also over there it was Newcomb, but that was Guilfoyle, his target there. Guilfoyle had a couple nice catches on that drive, but now the 4th down, let's see what Lafayette does here at the 30 of Mail.
Yeah, this is a big down for them. They're going to try to get the first down here and see but they don't want to show all their long yardage plays on the scrimmage.
Twins to both sides for Wood. Snap to Walker. Wood steps up. Wood looks right side, throws it, and it's caught down to the 10 and taking it down near the finally topped at the 3-yard line. And I believe, yes, that was Noah Phillips. Phillips, the 180-pound, 6'2 senior Noah Phillips.
It's a really nice job, and let's give credit where credit's due. The offensive line gave him lots of time that time. Nice job, offensive line.
Coach, that was a pickup of 25 to Noah Phillips, and he drug male defenders almost into the end zone.
Yeah,
That's a great effort there by Phillips.
That's a huge mistake by Male, though. 4th and long, and letting him get all the way down to the 4 or 5 yard line.
Going with the full house now, Javarius Robinson, and they give to Shaw, and Shaw's going to bull in, touchdown. Shaw with the touchdown. Ian Shaw in there, running back, our leading tackler last year. And Lafayette has taken an early lead here, 6-0 over the defending state male Bulldogs. Nice drive, Coach. It started with that nice return by Brown up to the 38-yard line. And, of course, it was capped off with that 4th down play by Wood to Noah Phillips down to the 5.
Thomas, Simpson, and Bischoff, excellent job on the interior down there in the red zone of creating a hole.
Set to kick, Coach. That looks like 85 in there for Lafayette. And the
Blow the
snap.
whistle.
Yep, they blew the whistle dead. And the kicker is Sutton Averett. It's like A-V-E-R-S, Averett. So they do not get the extra point. But with 8:53 to go in the first, Lafayette on top, 6-0, leading the male Bulldogs. Here on PrepSpin, Gary Ball with Coach Mike Meehan and William Warfield. And, Coach, your thoughts of that opening drive there by Lafayette?
Nice job. And I'll tell you what impressed me the most is they overcame a huge penalty and a couple losses on plays to end up throwing a huge pass down deep to get in the end zone, to get a good running area. I'll tell you what I like about Lafayette is they calculate what they're doing every time. You can watch what they're doing. Their players are looking at their blocks. Walker Wood is definitely reading the coverages now. And as he gets older, he's going to get better and better at that.
So dropping back deep to receive for the Bulldogs. Got a couple of speed merchants back there. Of course, Deion Montgomery is the young man, the senior to the near side, and Nate Hobbs to the far side. Averett will kick off. What happened on that extra point, Coach? I probably didn't tell the folks.
Yeah, it was just a snap. He dropped the snap. It might have been a bad snap.
Would that be a snafu?
It would be a snap-foo.
Here's the ball goes to the end. It's going to be a touchback. Great kick there by Averett as he gets it past the speedy Montgomery. So let's see what the male has offensively. T.J. Thomas, their 193-pound senior quarterback, 47 out of 66. Coach, I looked at these two quarterbacks, Thomas and Cheshire. They combined for about 72% completion last year, nearly 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. So they've been in a game situation before.
Yeah, they're experienced. Now, there are going to be some jitters.
Yeah.
This is the opening scrimmages, away from home. A lot of people watching on PrepSpin. We'll see. If they settle down, I'd like to see the battle continue. Give them both a shot to see what happens.
Well, the scrimmage will be played just like a regular game, regular season. So the first half, pretty much, we'll see a lot of the starters. And then the second half, third quarter, fourth quarter, you're going to see a lot of JV players. Would that be your estimation?
I would think so, yes.
So let's see what Thomas does here for male. He sends motion to the near side. Looks to the left, fires over there, and it's caught by Higgs, and he's upended up at the 28-yard line. But a nice catch there out of the backfield by Davion Higgs. And we'll check the corner over there. That looked like, yes, that was Lafayette's corner, Cameron Morgan making the play. Up front, it's Tayshron McCoy, Dylan McKinney, Xavier Douglas, and they're going to blow that play dead before they get it off. Dre Cowan is your defenses for Lafayette's defense, 4-man front. You got Uboja, the outside linebacker. Then you got Ian Shaw, who scored that touchdown from 5 yards out. Also the leading tackler returning. Brandon Lane, the strong linebacker. Corey Heiss, a backup as well. Those are your linebackers. You got DeMarco Fishback, Malik Price, Jordan Thomas, Cameron Morgan in the secondary. So what did they do there, Coach?
The defensive end jumped. I think the male quarterback varied his count a little bit, and the Lafayette defensive end on the right side jumped a little ahead of time.
You have to watch 25 out here. He's the wide man out there in that 3-man crew. He can fly. His name is B.K. Smith. Looking the other way. They come instead, and they drop it. That ball was dropped. Incomplete. Was trying to go to Tyler Ritchie. He was lined up out there with B.K. Smith, and he dropped the football. Here comes a late flag for extracurricular. Not sure what happened on that, Coach. But
it might have been a little over celebration on Lafayette. The guy who made the tackle jumped up and kind of showed himself a little bit.
I tell you, I'm noticing right in the middle there, 54 as he comes to the sideline, Xavier Douglas. He is a big fella.
They're several big boys.
310 pounds. And, Coach, remember last year when they moved Landon Young, who's at Kentucky now, and Wills to the defensive ends, that's when Lafayette really started turning it on defensively. I think they did in the Henry Clay game we did last year.
They did, and then continued on the rest of the season. An excellent job. That's an unsportsmanlike.
That's huge.
Problem. You just can't do that.
I know it's a scrimmage game, but that's one that Eric Shaw, he is already walking down like he is going to let somebody have it. You can just tell.
Well, we saw that fast screen they just ran on the outside there. You're going to see a lot of screens from the Mail. That one of the things they really count on with their offense is to run the screens, either the fast screens on either side or in the center.
Higgs is in the backfield behind the quarterback Thomas. Trip receivers to the bottom, single receiver out to the top, and they've got first down up near midfield now with that unsportsmanlike penalty. Thomas sends Ritchie in motion. Waits for the snap, fakes to Higgs, steps back, comes pressure, throws it deep downfield to Smith, and it's going to be knocked away at the last moment. Smith had to kind of come back for the football as he was in coverage back there with Thomas, Jordan Thomas, the bandit defensive back. And, Coach, if he'd let him, that was 6 points because definitely B.K. Smith was out there. As I said, the young man could fly.
Yeah, but I think Tyler Ritchie had so much pressure on him, it looked like he couldn't continue his follow-through on his throw. From the pressure in the middle. The play was developed a little slowly. They're trying for the home run, and I don't know. Maybe you should go back to your short stuff.
Second down, and wideouts twins to the top. Thomas with Higgs in the backfield.
Nice.
Gives to Higgs right to Gut. He's to the 45. Higgs to the
nice.
40 down to the 38-yard line. Finally upended there. Here comes another flag in on the late hit there.
Or, face mask.
Face mask.
I don't know which.
The hit was made by Lafayette, and it came from number 19, Malik Price, made the tackle. The flag came down. Did he grab his face mask, Coach?
Yeah, I think so. I think he probably just brushed it. But honestly, people watching this on PrepSpin, they're very careful with that penalty. That's a very dangerous thing if you grab that face mask. It used to be a different penalty for if you just brush it or if you grab it. Not anymore. Those officials can't make that call.
Yeah, that is going to be unsportsmanlike, personal foul, face mask. So Lafayette already 2 big penalties in this, the unsportsmanlike that took it up to midfield, and now the unsportsmanlike that's going to take it down to their 22-yard line. So Mail set up in business now with their quarterback, Tony T.J. Thomas.
T.J. Thomas is in a lot of pressure. There's a lot of people coming through on his pass plays.
He's got Bibb out to the top. You got to watch B.K. Smith. Here is
Higgs.
Give to Higgs, and Higgs running hard about the 21, maybe a yard, where he's knocked down there. I know Ian Shaw, saw him in there, the leading tackler from last year, who has the lone touchdown in this game so far. And also helping out was big McKinney at 260, the senior. Coach, how about this 7:50 to go in the first half? Louisville Mail and Lexington Lafayette Generals lead 6-0 on the Ian Shaw 5-yard TD run. Motion by Ritchie. Thomas looking right, getting pressure.
Oh,
Thomas, and he's going to be sacked all the way back at the 35-yard line.
The system that they run, Gary, the system that Mail run, and if we have time, if we have like a timeout or something, we'll talk about it. This system is predicated on fast release of the football. And as a rookie quarterback like that, you cannot stand back there and wait.
That was McCoy, 6'2", 225 senior, getting there helping out on that sack. Loss of 3rd down and 24 down for the Bulldogs of Mail.
A lot of pressure coming through that offensive line.
At the 34-yard line, Thomas looking left, getting pressure again, throws a screen, and it is going to be incomplete.
Should.
So he tried to go to B.K. Smith, but Smith dove for it to hit the ground, so brings up 4th and long. But remember, Lafayette was faced with 4th and long, and then they were able to hit Phillips over the middle for a 25-yard catch down to the 5, and Shaw finished it off with a 5-yard TD run. But it looks like Mail's going to kick it here.
Yeah, they're going to punt the football, try to get him down deep.
Boy, they are treating this just like a game, aren't they, Coach?
Surprisingly, yes. Well, we'll see if they rush the punter. If they rush the punter then and return the punt, then it's It's amazing that they would do that in this scrimmage.
Cheshire, I think, has won the punting duties for Mail.
Well, it's not going to rush. See, they're just going to stand there.
No rush. Here's the short punt. He shanks it over the right side, and it goes out of bounds at about the 20 there. Cameron Morgan was back near the end zone, but he wasn't even close to that one. They're going to mark it out at the 20. Official still going back to about the 20-yard line. I think that was generous. It probably should have been about the 22 or 3, but that's where Lafayette will have it, Coach. They lead 6-0 on a Ian Shaw 5-yard TD run. They botched the extra point. And their defense bent a little bit on that series by Mail, but they did not break and force the punt there by Mail.
I'm really seeing what we expected to see. A couple coaches that I talked to before this game, Gary, is the inexperience of Mail. They've got the athletes, but they have a lot of inexperience in there on the offensive side.
And that's why scrimmage is so important, isn't it,
Absolutely.
Coach? I mean, you can learn a lot of things, especially playing a team as talented as Lafayette. Walker Wood back in for his second series. He let him down on a 72-yard march his first series and a touchdown.
He changed the play, Coach. He changed the play, Gary.
Walker Wood hands it inside now to Robinson, and Javarius up to the 29-yard line. Hard running there, and knocking him down is the linebacker, Stephon Mays. Boy, Mays is going to make a ton of plays this year for Mail, isn't he, Coach?
He's going to make a ton of plays in the future, too.
That's a pickup of 6, second down and 4.
That was a nice read by Walker Wood. If I saw that correctly, they had dropped the linebackers off. They had a 4-man front, and there was plenty of room to run the ball for 5 yards or so. And he adjusted that play. He probably had a pass play called and adjusted back to the run.
That's how you and Ben used to do it back at Dunbar, right?
Ben did that on his own, man, I tell you.
He was a good one.
He was a smart, quick.
He kept that GPA up at West Virginia, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Here's Wood faking, looking, throwing, firing, and incomplete as he bounces it up to his intended receiver up at the 40-yard line. And that, of course, was DeQuan Edwards.
Yeah, that was a little sloppy, too. I'm watching Walker Wood's feet, and, he's working on that really hard. He usually has extremely good foot presence in the pocket.
Well, you don't remember, he is coming off shoulder surgery.
Yeah, well.
So his arm doesn't look as crisp and as sharp as it did last year, does it? But he'll get it back.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
This is preseason.
This is warm-up for everybody.
3rd down and 3. Walker Wood has trips out to the top, fires over the right. Knocked down by who else? Stephon Mays.
Stephon Mays was playing that outside linebacker spot there. He saw that there wasn't anybody to block him. He came in like a really good defensive lineman. What did he do? He knew he couldn't get to the quarterback.
And like a Division I linebacker.
He put his hands up and knocked the ball down.
Eastern Illinois has already offered him. There'll be others to come calling after they see him play this year. Yeah. He's going to be a stud.
That was a nice job by the Mail defense on that series.
Lafayette stymied on their second series. They lead 6-0 here with 6 minutes to go in the first period of the Louisville Mail Lafayette showdown here. This game was so big, it's got PrepSpin here on live coverage. That's how big this scrimmage game was tonight, because you got some of the top recruits in the state playing here tonight.
Nice.
Here's the punt coming from Wood, gets it off, and near side, and taking it to the
fast
side.
Look at that speed.
There goes speed to the 50-yard line, and he's down to the 30. Stutter stepping Hobbs. Hobbs to the 20, and Hobbs brought down inside the 20-yard line. Nathan Hobbs nearly took that to the house for Mail. That's something you can't teach right there, Coach, is speed.
He did, and a super job of setting up the wall. The wall was perfectly set. Good speed on the return, too.
By Hobbs. Taylor helped out on the play for Lafayette.
Taylor ran it down.
Sure
he
did.
had to. He was the last man to get there.
5:45 here in the first. Lafayette on top of Mail, 6-0. And you know what? They were ticketing cars over here on Reed Road right outside of Ishmael Stadium a little bit earlier. We'll step out here and come back with more action here with Lafayette leading 6-0 here in the first quarter.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White, Greer, and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White, Greer, and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No.
Sorta you isn't you. White, Greer, and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
This is Oscar Combs. The next time you get hungry, remember this commercial. Then grab your keys and come to Rafferty's. Now, Where did you put those keys? Rafferty's, located in Lexington, Louisville, Elizabethtown, Florence, Paducah, and Bowling Green.
Gary Ball, Coach Mike Meehan, William Warfield back here to King of Stream. It's Lafayette and Louisville Male. Glad to be here tonight, Coach. We kick off the regular season next Friday night here on PrepSpin. And, Coach, you got a 6-0 lead, right? What has Lafayette done well in your estimation? What has Louisville Male done well?
Well, Lafayette has surprised me in that they're doing a really good job when they're backed up. When they have an opportunity to really give up, they don't give up. They just push ahead. Now, they've made some errors on penalties that they can't afford to do, Gary. They've got to stop that. Male's struggling a little bit offensively now. But
look where they're starting. On that return by
the
outstanding return man Hobbs, they're starting inside the 20 of Lafayette. So you got like their chances of scoring here, even though they're inexperienced.
Yeah.
Losing 16 starters from last year's number 8 in the country, state champion male team.
Now, I'm interested in seeing Male does a really good job of running like a little misdirection down here. They also have perfected the inside zone play, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk a little bit later about what that means, how they run it, and how well they run it.
Thomas still in there, quarterback for Male. Higgs is behind him. You got B.K. Smith. You got to watch him. Let's see who's out there on him defensively. He's out to the near side. You got twin receivers to the top. Motion by Ritchie. Handoff to Higgs, trying to bounce it outside. Higgs hemmed in.
Nice job.
Higgs down to the 18-yard line. And, Coach, I tell you, that was a good pursuit there by the defense.
Yeah.
And it looked like leading the charge there for the Generals was big number 99, Tyrone Williams, 250-pound junior.
And number 8.
Cowan helped out, too.
Coming from the backside, too.
Yeah, it's Brown, isn't it? Quentin Brown?
Yes.
Trips out to the top, second down for Thomas. For Male. Thomas looking, firing over the right side, and it is going to be incomplete.
See the little hitch in his throw?
Did
you see that watching this on PrepSpin? The quarterback has a little hitch in his throw, like he's not sure he wants to throw it.
Yeah.
What you learn from experience is when your receiver is one-on-one with the defensive back,
right,
your receiver's open. You got to count on that. Count on your man to make the play.
And by the way, that was the intended receiver was B.K. Smith. He's going to be a primary target this year for Male, isn't he? Number 25. That was the target. He was open, too.
Yeah, they isolated him on the backside. They're doing it again. They're giving you trips on the wide side and isolating him one-on-one on this side. The safety is way on the hash over here.
Trips out to the top for Thomas. Looks left. Gives it back inside now to Higgs. Higgs caught from behind at the 16-yard line, which is going to be fourth down at about 7. And, Coach, a couple of guys getting up off that pile. Nice play turned in. I see big number 50, Dylan McKinney, pulling Higgs down from behind. So
both of those.
They might bring Sorensen in here for a field goal because he's got such a good leg, and that may be what they do. Yeah, he's in there. Sorensen's in there. They're going to place it down at the 23. So this will be a 33-yard attempt out of hold of Cheshire, the backup quarterback.
You can't run draws like that unless you can hold your blocks, and they're having trouble holding blocks against those big defensive linemen.
Cheshire holds, and Sorensen's kick is up. Plenty of leg.
Hit it.
And he misses it off to the left.
Hit the goal.
Lafayette still leads 6-0. 4 minutes and 19 seconds to go here. And we'll come back with more action here on the PrepSpin, the White Greer Maggard High School football game of the week. Thanks to White Greer Maggard, our title sponsor here on PrepSpin. We'll be back.
Don't forget about your shout out to that Iraqi.
Yeah, gotcha. Anthony.
White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
And we're back here in the White Greer Maggard High School football game of the week. Tonight it's a huge scrimmage game. Two of the best teams in the state. Preseason polls have both these teams ranked in the top 10. They have Male number 2, Lafayette number 3 behind Trinity out of Louisville. And, Coach, your thoughts here. Male very green, very inexperienced, but, man, you can see the athletic talent out there.
Well, they're trying to feel themselves out. Like on that last series, they had the ball in the red zone there, but their play selection was questionable.
Robinson dancing in the line, hit, and Javarius is going to be dropped. But that's one thing Male's going to have. They're going to have a solid defense this year.
Gary, let me correct that myself a little bit there because I hated to put it that way. It's not that there was bad play selection because this is a scrimmage. They're trying to find what they can do, what their key red zone plays are.
Yeah.
And you can't run draw if you can't move the big behemoths that Lafayette has in there.
And they got some huge monsters in there. There's no doubt about it. We talked about that in the when we gave the lineups. Petlock helped out on that play for Male, by the way. He's also going to make a lot of plays.
Ooh.
There's a pass, a dangerous out to the near side, incomplete, trying to go to Zach Sherman.
Yeah, that's a quick screen too. We're going to see different kind of screens. A quick screen is when the receiver takes one step forward, steps back, catches the ball, and you try to get a blocker out to take the corner, seal off the inside. They also can run a lot of slow screens. We call them play screens and so on. So we'll look for a lot of that from both teams.
So brings up third down for the Generals. They need 5. They've got to get up to the 30 for Walker Wood and Lafayette first down. Male's defense, really, in my opinion, since that opening series when Lafayette marched it down and scored, Male's defense has really pinned them in a little bit. Here's Woods going to step up, and he's going to be hit and dropped at the just beyond the line of scrimmage. We'll bring up fourth down. And that closed quickly, and it closed quickly because of the speed of Trey Cheney, the outside linebacker.
Yeah, I think that was a quarterback draw all the way. They spread the offense out and ran a quarterback draw. Walker Wood is extremely capable of running the football, running the draw.
So we'll see Hobbs dropping back along with Montgomery to the far side. Remember, Hobbs nearly broke the last punt return all the way down inside the 20. So Walker Wood will punt, and we are in the first period, 3 minutes to go. Here's Woods' punt. Just got off high, nearly blocked, and here comes a flag. It bounces, takes a Male roll to the 43. And let's see what the flag's about, Coach.
Yeah, I don't know. The person who threw the ball, it had to be a legal procedure of some kind, the one who threw the flag. It'll be interesting. These officials, by the way, are just warming up, too. They're getting their first look, and they're going to be looking for some fluids at halftime.
Yes, absolutely. We got a special shout out watching over in Iraq tonight. It's late over there, Coach. Sergeant Anthony Steinman's over there watching in Iraq, and he's hoping to get a look at his son and this Lafayette team. So shout out to him over there. Thanks for watching tonight, Sergeant.
And thank you for your service, sir.
Yes, sir. Gary Ball, Mike Meehan, Coach Meehan, and William Warfield here at Lafayette. Well, Coach, we got a really good crowd in here. Look at the student section down there to your left. Really nice crowd down here for this scrimmage game between this is a rematch of the state championship back in December between Male and Lafayette. That Male won the state title. Lafayette, a lot of returners this year. They did lose, some most notable losses, in my opinion. Landon Young, of course, is playing in Kentucky now. Big lineman, 6'6", 290-pounder. And I tell you, a huge loss, in my opinion, Mason Allstat.
Yes. We watched him. We called him a lot we looked for him a lot last year.
He did a lot. He returned punts. He was a great running back. He was a really good defensive player. He was just an all-state linebacker type guy.
Yep.
And he did make all-state.
He was all over the field.
So they move Male back with that penalty. They're back at their own 48-yard line. And it looks like we got Cheshire. Yeah, Cameron Cheshire's in there, quarterback now. And Cheshire gives to the running back, and Higgs to the line of scrimmage. Not much there at all. Davion Higgs. They brought Cameron Cheshire in there, Coach, the other quarterback, and we'll get our first look at him now.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's so much fun. Those of you watching on PrepSpin, watch the offensive line and the defensive line battle now. Don't just watch the football. This is a really good defensive line by Lafayette.
Cheshire looking left, fires, and it is caught by Bibb, and Bibb close to a couple yards short down to the 44-yard line.
Big down.
Cheshire's pass caught by Ethan Bibb, the junior. His first catch of the game brings up third down at about 3, Coach.
Big down right here for Mail. Let's see what they've got in store. They love to run the inside-outside zone read on these plays.
Minute 55 here in the first period. 6-0 Lafayette on top of Mail.
He's
Third
leaning.
Down and 3. Cheshire, and there's a flag coming down.
Yeah, he's leaning.
Yep. He was trying to fire it out to B.K. Smith. A little bubble screen out there, but false start will cost him 5 yards. And, Coach, that'll bring up 3rd and 8 now for the Bulldogs instead of 3rd and 3.
See, the running back is leaning forward. He leaned forward on the previous play. He's leaning, trying to get a little advantage on the snap. The referee, the white hat guy, said something to him in the previous play and called him on the second play for doing
Coach,
it.
there's one thing you can call that, inexperience.
That's inexperience. Now it's 3rd and 8. This is a big play.
3rd and 8 for Cameron Cheshire, the junior quarterback. Cheshire, pressure, ball knocked out of there, picked up and scooped. Here goes Lafayette all the way and taking it in there. And I believe that's Shaw. No, excuse me, that is 22. And, Coach, that's McCoy.
Real McCoy.
The real McCoy. I thought for a moment it was going to be Shaw. I was going to say give both touchdowns to Shaw, but he's 23. That was McCoy, 22. And he scooped and scored. And just like that, what a turning play. It's 12-0 Lafayette against the defending state champs Mayo.
And I tell you what, you cannot – they're running these screens, a middle screen, and you have to hold those defensive linemen, those defensive players a little bit. That was like leaving home, leaving all the doors and the windows unlocked, and then the burglar comes in there easily.
He's like, just open the door,
Open the door and come in or crawl through an open window. I mean, it was wide open.
So we'll get the extra point here coming from –
Did he knock the ball out of his hand? The
yeah,
same
he
guy
knocked
that
it
scored,
out of
McCoy?
his hand and scooped it up and scored. And in there for Lafayette is Sutton Averett to try to kick the extra point. They weren't successful in that the first time with the botched snap. And he's trying to put Lafayette up 13-0 here, minute 35 in the first period. And what a play by McCoy, the 225-pound senior. Whistles all over the place now. I can hear him from way up here. Flag thrown over on the far side.
Yeah, defensively lining up off sides. Yep. Again, another inexperienced move.
Encroachment against the Bulldogs. Why would you decline it?
Because you want to kick the extra point, and your kickers are used to kicking from that spot. If you take the penalty, you move half the distance, it takes away the angle.
Here's the kick low, and it is going to be good. Just got it in the left side. So Lafayette 13, Mail nothing here in the first period. Two of the top teams in the state. We'll return here on the White Greer Maggard High School Football Game of the Week.
The reason I know that?
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White Greer and Maggard.
It was McCoy.
Sort of like White Greer and Maggard.
22,
Local,
Tejeron,
love smiles, love to fix
McCoy,
things.
22.
No.
He stripped it
Sort
and
of
picked
you,
it up.
isn't you?
Yeah, he did. It was a great
White,
play.
Greer, and Maggard,
He
where a
is-
beautiful
here he
smile is just the beginning.
It's Tejerin. Right here, if you want to see it on the roster. Tejeron McCoy. Tejeron, yeah, Tejerin. Yeah. We back. Gary Ball, Coach Meehan back, and here's the Everett kick. And that will drive King back, and it'll go over his head, touchback. So nice kickoff there by Lafayette's Everett. And
Little mixing up over there, a little action going on between some players on the kickoff team.
well, you can bet that these Lafayette players are on that state final team last year. They remember how Male kind of put a little bit of a beat down on them, 41-14, and but you know the starters are only going to play the first half here. We're going to see a lot of JV players in the second half, Coach.
Well, you know, let's talk a little bit about what you just said. Is there psychologically on both teams, is there a little edge to Male and a little, maybe a little worry a little bit from the Lafayette group coming back after getting beat like that, after winning like that?
There would be if Mayo had a lot returning, but 16 out of 20 starters are gone for Mayo. They graduated. And by the way, Coach, of those 16, all 16 are playing college football this year.
Yeah.
So that tells you why they were number 8 in the country, doesn't it?
It was a very astute comment, Gary. Good job.
Thank you. Everyone's
you know your psychology.
Even a blind squirrel, right? First down for Mayo, and they've got T.J. Thomas back in there. Cheshire got a look. Now here's a handoff to Higgs. He breaks the tackle out to the 30, 35. Higgs 40, all the way up to the 42-yard line. Nice run by Davion Higgs, the running back for Mayo. They thought he was down back at about the 25, but Higgs bounced off that and said, no, I am not, and took it up to the 42-yard line. That's a nice 22-yard run. Longest play of scrimmage for Mayo tonight, Coach.
You know, Gary, he's not related to Mark Higgs, but he runs like Mark Higgs.
He sure does, doesn't he? I agree. You know, if I'm not mistaken, Mark Higgs, this Higgs wears 26. Mark Higgs, I think, was it 22?
I think 22. That's what seems to stick in my head.
First down, fake to Higgs, fire out to the near side, caught by Ritchie. Ritchie's 45. Ritchie will not break the tackle out there. Nice play turned in out there by the defensive back. That's Price, Malik Price, a free safety, the senior.
Okay, that was another fast screen. But if you noticed, that ball took a long time to get there. There was too much air under that ball, and that's something you work on. You work on what's called grip and rip. As soon as you get the ball in your hand, you throw it. You don't look for the seams or anything.
Thomas with Higgs behind him. Fakes, fumbles the ball, and it looks like Lafayette's recovered. Yes, they have. Lafayette has it at the 43-yard line. Recovery by Lafayette. All things going right. Remember, McCoy got the strip and the score. And recovered there by Big 59. Recovered the ball, Coach, on the Lafayette roster. I've got 2 deep here. And
Isaac Young.
So Young with the recovery.
No, that's Mayo.
59 should be for Lafayette. Should be Austin Miller. Yeah, Miller.
Yeah, it's Austin Miller.
And he's not listed on the 2 deep, so he must be 3 deep. But at 3 deep or not, he made a nice fumble recovery. So with a minute to go in the third, it's all Lafayette. They lead here 13-0. They're going to try to add to that with a fumble recovery by Austin Miller.
Nice job by Miller, falling on the ball, curled up on the ball. You know, a lot of times these young guys make a mistake of trying to scoop it and run with it.
Tell them the pitcher will be back in just 1 second.
We'll have our video back in just a few moments. There's a delay in the action anyway. William Warfield, the King of Stream, working on that video for you. Gary Ball, Coach Mike Meehan. And this is the high school football scrimmage game between Lexington Lafayette and Louisville Mayo, 2 of the powerhouses in the state. As a matter of fact, these 2 teams played in the state championship of 6A football last year in December, Coach. So outstanding job so far by Lafayette, and we're still not even to the second quarter, and they lead 13-0, and the Generals have the ball.
This is a big
sure is.
Point for them. If they can take this into the end zone, they'll probably just take all their starters out after
If there
this.
ever was that you can make a statement in a scrimmage, this is a statement scrimmage game for Lafayette. If they can hold this up here and do this, you don't want to come in and get beat down by Mayo after you lost to them in the state championship like you did.
Yeah.
But if you can come in and turn the tide, be a big message sent by Lafayette that Lexington football is back.
Absolutely. And again, who set up this scrimmage? Was this scrimmage set up before last year, before the state championship
I think
game?
this scrimmage was set up after the state championship game when the coaches met down on the field after that game. They said, hey, let's scrimmage next year.
What a great idea. Super idea to scrimmage. And for Mayo, too. With that inexperienced team, they get to go away from home and play a really good football team. Excellent.
And at quarterback now is Quentin Brown, the outstanding receiver. He is going to be in at quarterback now. Now they're making him do something to his equipment. I'm not sure what that is about.
He may have blood on him.
Yeah. So Brown, looks like they'll have to send in, looks like number 12 will come in at quarterback.
Who's that?
That is Austin Serafini.
Who's that crack trainer for Lafayette that's going to have to get out there and make sure that blood gets gone?
So Serafini, it looks like, 15, excuse me. Serafini has a handoff and down to the 35, and the quarterback coach is Corey Heiss. Heiss, the slender 6'2" sophomore, is in at quarterback. So nice. Heiss in at quarterback.
That's a good job of getting a younger guy in there now with Mayo on the ropes a little bit. Let's see if they change what they do with a sub quarterback here.
Heiss 6'2", about 170. He's listed as a third quarterback, but for some reason, it looks like it will be Brown now out of that shotgun, coach, or pistol, if you will, with Robinson to his left. Here's Brown firing, and it's going to be incomplete. Nearly picked off by Sheffield. Second time tonight, Sheffield nearly picked one off in the middle there.
Yeah, a little sidearm delivery, maybe a little panicked on the rush. He had plenty of time to set his feet and throw that. So, but I like this the size of that young guy. He's thin, but he looks like he can see over the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a good one. Isn't it great to have a sophomore backing up an excellent starting quarterback like Walker Wood?
Absolutely, and you got Quentin Brown, who's the lefty you just mentioned, throwing sidearm. Brown, a great athlete. Morgan's in a running back. They give to Morgan. Morgan dancing into the line, and he's close to the first. He's still on his feet. Morgan won't go down. He's got the first down with that second and third effort. So Morgan doing a good job with their legs churning. They say keep those legs moving, don't they, Coach?
They do. I think that's one of the keys for a running back is to do that. Michael Mickens looked like he was a rodeo star, the way he wrestled him down. He stayed with him and kept the grip and kept wrestling him until he got him to the ground.
And linebacker Nick Petlock helped out as well, Coach. We're almost, believe it or not, folks, we haven't played the first quarter yet. We got 18 seconds left here in the first quarter. It's 13-0, but Lafayette does have a first down at the 28 of Mail. Lafayette in the red, Mail in the white with the purple and the gold helmets. More fake by Brown. He's going to tuck it. Here's a flag down as Quentin runs out of bounds at the 25, being chased out there by the outside backer Ford, Josiah Ford.
I believe we have a holding penalty there on the edge, though. If he called it, I saw it. Let's see if he made the call. Yeah, you got to be careful on those when that runner bounces outside. Those blockers have a tendency to lock on and grab.
I know this is a scrimmage game, Coach, but has this been an unusually long first quarter, in your opinion?
Maybe it's did you look at the clock when it started?
Yes, I did, but, Coach, I got news for you. It has been unusual. This quarter alone is already 40 minutes into it.
That's a long quarter. Well, they had some breaks, too, if you think about it.
Yeah, so. Well, I guess they had to with the heat. So 1st and 10. Quentin Brown is in at quarterback. We did see Heiss in there for a moment, didn't we, Coach?
We did.
The third quarterback, Walker Wood, started. He went 3 series, and looks like his work for the evening's done. They play Dunbar next Friday. I believe that's here at Lafayette, isn't it, Coach?
I'm not sure.
I believe they're
I need to look into that.
Openers here. I believe that's a doubleheader next week. I think Tate's Creek's playing Scott County. Brown gets the snap, 25. Quentin tucks it and finally run out of bounds there by Josiah Ford.
Yeah, Josiah Ford, 5'10", 165-pound junior, really reacted well on that play. He read that run all the way and came across the face of the defensive end or the offensive lineman to make the tackle.
Louisville Male, a 21-game winning streak coming in this scrimmage, so it won't count tonight unofficially because it's a scrimmage. And they will open up their season against an Indiana team next Friday, Coach.
That's good. I'm glad we're playing out-of-state people. All right, they're locked down over here, man-to-man on the wide side and on the short side of the field with a free safety. They're going to blitz both linebackers.
Brown, stutter stepping. Brown hit and knocked down. And
nice job.
It's going to be sacked back at the 31-yard line. Who else? Getting in there was Robert Sheffield and Stephon Mays. That's going to do it for the first quarter. Into the first quarter, it's been all Lafayette. The Generals dominating 13-0 here over the Male Bulldogs. We'll come back with second quarter action here on PrepSpin. It's the White Greer Maggard High School Football Game of the Week. William Moorfield doing it all tonight. We'll be back on the White Greer Maggard Game of the Week. I tell you, man.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White Greer and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White Greer and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No.
Sorta you isn't you. White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning. White, Greer, and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
Gary Ball, Coach Mike Meehan, give a shout out to our good friend Mike Ritchie. He's watching tonight up in northern Kentucky in Hebron. Shout out to Mike. And with Coach Mike Meehan, William Warfield, King of String, Gary Ball. 13-0, Coach, as we head to the second quarter. Lafayette, I got to be quite honest about it. Where it's not a pro anything here, but they dominated that first quarter. They did. And I got a tweet from a good friend, Carol Huber, who said to congratulate 2016 SCA All-American Strength and Conditioning Athlete of the Year, Quentin Brown. Quentin Brown, yeah, he's a good one. And you got another backup quarterback. They've used 3 quarterbacks already in this first half, speaking of Lafayette, and that is Corey Heiss back in there now, quarterback. Started with Walker Wood, the UK commit. Quentin Brown. Brown looks like he's just going to be in there to run the ball. I think so, too. He's still in there. You got Heiss in there as well. Third down as we start the second quarter. Unless they got some skullduggery going on in there. Something's going on. Try some trick play. Nails locked down again. Quentin Brown. Brown fakes, looks, throws over to the left side, and let's see, it's going to be incomplete down at the 3-yard line, trying to lead it up there to Daquan Edwards, a junior on the far side, but goes incomplete, brings up 4th down. Good coverage. Looked like Montgomery was back there in coverage, the senior corner. Step to step with him, Gary. I tell you, Nate Hobbs is their lockdown cover guy. He's a D1 player, has 12 D1 offers already for Mayo. Okay, let me see here. They look like they're man-to-man on the outside, on the other side playing zone here on this side. 0 coverage. There is no safety on the field right now. There is no running back, so out of the pistol, Brown. Triple receivers to the bottom. Robinson's a slot. Brown looking, little flare over the middle. Got his man to the 20 and is going to take it down to the 19. First down, and the catch made there by Edwards. Nice job by Edwards. Nice job by Brown that time. Nice job. Good feet. Set his feet well. Excellent throw. Got rid of the ball quickly. Pretty impressive. We're in the second quarter. 13-0. Lafayette leading Louisville Male, the defending 6A state champions. Louisville Male number 8 team. They were 8 in the country, top 10 team in the country last year. 16 starters lost, all 16 playing college football. I know Hayden Shelton, the quarterback's at Georgetown College right up the road here in Georgetown in Scott County. It'll be fun to watch him as his career progresses. Brown, Robinson in the backfield. And Morgan back there as well. Is going to delay, give it to Morgan. Morgan running hard. Morgan to the 10. Morgan still going down to the 7-yard line. What a nice run by Morgan. I like this guy. I like him a lot. I like the way he gets off the football. He runs north and south. And he's quick off the snap. Wow, good job. I'd like to see what his speed is. We can get someone get a clock on that young man and let me know it for the future. I'll tell you, I clocked it up here. It's about 4.5. You clocked it. Yeah, I'm impressed. He's faster than that. 13-0 here as we start the second quarter. Gary Ball, Coach Mike Meehan, William Warfield, the King of String. Thanks for watching tonight. High school football here on PrepSpin. Quentin Brown, the keeper. Brown, and he dives down to about the 6. And coming in there to get him a couple of guys. And 69, that's big Michael Mickens. Yeah, it's a good lick, too. Good lick. He jumped right up, though. And K.J. Jones, a strong safety, helped out as well. Second down and goal at the 8 for the Generals, trying to add to their 2-touchdown lead here, Coach Meehan. And with a second quarterback in there, threw it a couple really good passes. Yeah, you were impressed with that one that Brown stepped up. He said he kept the feet straight. Yeah, but his release was so quick. That's the important thing. He's a southpaw. I did not realize, of course, we've only seen Quentin receive the ball as a receiver from Walker Wood. I didn't realize he was a southpaw. Brown fakes, throws it over the corner, and that's going to be to Edwards, incomplete. Trying to flare it up to Daquan Edwards in the corner of the end zone. It goes incomplete. Yeah, that's a fade route. And on the standard rule of football is outside the 20-yard line, throw the fade to the inside pylon. Yes, sir.
the goal line pylon, inside the 20-yard line, throw it to the far pylon. Give your receiver a chance to break away.
That's why you were such an offensive guru and I was not.
Oh, no.
When you coached.
I had good athletes. I had really, really good athletes.
You had a kid by the name of Ben Meehan, and you also had a kid by the name of Dougie Allen.
Right, and then at LCA, oh, my gosh, same thing. Brandon Burdett and Lucas Witt and that crew.
Brown out of the shotgun, looks Morgan behind him, flips it to him. Morgan cuts it back, and what a great play turned in by Sheffield. Robert Sheffield.
Sheffield is going to make a mark for himself
yes,
this year. He is really, really aggressive on the defensive side of the football.
Let's see what Lafayette does here, Coach.
They're going to kick a field goal.
They're going to bring in the place kicker, it looks like. Everett. Place it down at about the – so Sutton Avery will put it down at about the – looks like the 17. So
one of them –
be a 27-yard.
One of those football players that are playing football now.
So Avery down to the hold of Brown. Kick is low, and it's no good. So Lafayette marches it down, gets it first and goal, but not able to score or even get the Male player down, shaken up a little bit. 9:48 in the first half. Lafayette 13, Male nothing. This is the White Greer Maggard High School Game of the Week. And, of course, we want to thank all of our sponsors, UK Sports Medicine. Jenny Williams working the sidelines here tonight, the athletic trainer. We'll be back on the White Greer Maggard High School Football Game of the Week, 13-0 here in the second period. Lafayette on top of Male.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White Greer and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White Greer and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No.
Sorta you isn't you. White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
Welcome back. Well, Coach, Lafayette looked like they were going to punch some more points in there, but Male held, and let's see, Lafayette looked like they're blitzing. Now they're backing out of it a little bit. Handoff up the middle. I believe that's Higgs again running hard, and he's up to the 24, maybe the 25-yard line. And that's still Thomas back in there, quarterback. We saw Cheshire there for one series. Davion Higgs, a ball carrier, picked up about 4. And it was Lane who made the play there for Lafayette. Brandon Lane, the outstanding linebacker. They've kind of contained Shaw a little bit. Here's Higgs up to the 29.
But that's what's hurting him, Gary, is that inside zone with Higgs. And it really is. When you can get 4 yards of crack like that, that's a great offensive to run. Sooner or later, he's going to pull. The quarterback's going to pull that ball on that inside zone and run it himself.
So 3rd down and 2 on that carry by Davion Higgs. He's behind Thomas. Richie goes motion, twins to the top. Quarterback, and he is going to be pulled down all the way back inside the 20 on a nice play there by Brandon Lane, the 215-pound senior linebacker, who's going to be an outstanding player this year for Lafayette. I think he's going to have a breakout season, Coach.
And I like his size. He's the perfect size to play that position. Now, when Male is motioning someone, they're a balanced offense. They got dual receivers on each side. They're motioning the receiver across. They're waiting to see if Lafayette's running with that defender, and they are. They're running across with that defender. What they're going to end up coming back is maybe a slant or a post on the back side, on this side, where the safety or whoever it is, outside linebacker leads.
How many times do we have this? You got a Cameron Cheshire punting, Cameron Morgan receiving the punt. Punt is partially blocked, and picked up by Lafayette at the 35. Heads-up play to the 30 and down to the 27-yard line. That ball was blocked by A Lafayette lineman. Nice pickup and scoop there for the Generals. Get a beat on that young man. Yeah, that's who that was. That was number Morgan on the return.
Yeah, nice job on that. That ball bounced in his direction, and he decided to take advantage of it. One of the other things that coaches are looking for in this scrimmage is their conditioning.
Yes, sir.
It's been hot. I know they had to curtail some time in their practices. Water breaks, maybe take away the full pads a little bit and put on partial pads, shorts, and so on. But one of the things they're looking for in the conditioning is pursuit, how they go to the football. And that play in Mayo was lacking a little bit in that. They had some people kind of jogging over there. And Coach Wolf, buddy, you're not going to put up with that.
And you got a flag back there. I didn't see that flag, Coach, way back at the 5-yard line. Yeah. They said roughing the punter, but, roughing the kicker, but the ball was blocked.
Yeah, I thought so, too. I thought it was touched.
It was definitely touched. So I guess what are they going to – Lafayette will still get the ball, and they'll tack that on after the – yep, they've tacked it on.
After the penalty, it'll be 1st and 10, Mayo.
Oh, no, Mayo will have the ball, so excuse me.
Right, Mayo has the ball. They got an automatic first down on the roughing.
That's a turn of events there. Goodness. How'd we miss that one?
I don't know.
Thank you. We got some refreshments up here. Thank you, ladies. What would you like, Coach?
Anything that's not carbonated, buddy.
Thank you very much. You
This
don't
is
want
good.
carbonated. You want a water?
This is fine.
Here is, as we get beverages, the ball down to the 20-yard line. Apologize for that.
We're new, too. This is our first time, and it's hot up here.
Yes.
So we apologize, but we're going to drink this Gatorade and this water for sure. All right, that was a long first quarter. I tell you, it just dried us out.
Yes, sir. Thanks to the ladies for helping us out here with the drinks tonight. Thank you, ladies.
There goes Higgs.
Higgs, he's to the 30, 40. Higgs far side ran out over there at the 48-yard line.
Nice run by Higgs. They're in a pistol formation, just bounced it outside. Another penalty on the play. Holding. Yeah, holding probably on the edge. When you see a guy break out wide open like Higgs did around the corner, Gary, it's probably a holding.
They're filming this scrimmage. They are.
Yeah.
So when Mayo goes back Monday and looks at this film, this is a learning tool for the coaches of Mayo. That's why you scrimmage. And you can say, hey, guys, it's a scrimmage, but we still got to contain our blocks there and not hold because, next week it's going to be for real.
Right. And we have a good running back. Let's give him an opportunity to get his yardage.
Yeah, Mayo always has good backs. You go back to the great running backs, Michael Bush, guys like that. Michael Bush, of course, played for the Bears. And what a game that was between Bush and Braun. Remember that state championship game? It's still a classic.
Incredible.
And then Devin Gentry, remember him?
Just like the Boone County history. Sean Alexander, those kids' last name Black that were so good.
Yeah, Brandon Black. Cheshire in at quarterback. Cheshire getting pressure, throws it up, knocked up in the air, and it's going to be incomplete. And it was big number 73, Jedrick Wills knocked it up in the air.
Jedrick Wills, he looked like the Incredible Hulk coming in there. He put his hands up and just popped that ball in the air. Probably a little disappointed. He had an opportunity to make a touchdown to pick up his own block pass.
And he has not committed yet, right, Jedrick?
Right.
He's been offered. Offered
far
by everybody. Kentucky's offered him. Louisville, Alabama's offered him. He's narrowed it down to 5 or 6, hasn't he, Coach?
He has. And you know what? He's as good a defensive player as he's an offensive player.
3rd down and long for Cheshire.
Another penalty.
Yeah, penalty before he gets the playoff. And
legal procedure. Motion.
Dre Cowan, the senior, was getting in there. I've been equally impressed with the Lafayette defense tonight, Coach. We talk about how great their offense is with Walker Wood and Quentin Brown and Robinson and guys like that, but this defense has been stellar. Of course, I know this is a very young male team that's got, a lot of new guys in the lineup.
They're skilled, but they're inexperienced. And I think the Lafayette defensive line is giving them fits.
6.5 to play in the first half. 13-0 Generals on top of Bulldogs. Cheshire looking left throw. He's got his man Bibb. Bibb to the 25 and tackled right there at the 25. Nice open field tackle out there by Fishback, DeMarco Fishback.
Excellent tackle, Gary. You're absolutely right. Excellent tackle. And I think that the receiver would have been better off breaking to the outside, don't you?
Absolutely. And that's Bibb will learn that. He's a junior. This is his first year he's really started for Mayo. A lot of these guys, I mean, they lost 16 starters off that team. 5 minutes, 52 to go, first half, and Mayo's going to be forced to punt it away to the Lafayette Generals.
Don't back up.
Here's the kick, and it will bounce at the 40 and go out of bounds inside the 30.
A decent punt.
See where they mark it at about the 34-yard line. That's where Lafayette will have it. Coach Meehan. Coach Mike Meehan has been my broadcast partner for several years now. We started out at WVLK Radio, now with William Warfield and PrepSpin the last few years, Coach. And well, I'm looking forward to another great high school football season. This is a scrimmage game, but it's not just any scrimmage game, is it, Coach?
No, this is a big one. This is the state championship contenders
right.
last year playing against each other.
And go ahead and preface that. State contenders this year.
Right, this year too, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Lafayette is loaded.
You got to throw Trinity in that equation, and X and teams like that around the 6A, Simon Kenton up in northern Kentucky, maybe Ryle. But I tell you what, these are two of the best teams you're going to see this year in high school football.
And you know what, Gary, to be honest with you, I coached about 19 years at Bryan Station and then at Dunbar.
Yes, sir.
I've always had admiration for Lafayette and their traditions. It just amazes me. And they were down for a while, but they're back up with Coach Shaw now.
Back up running back and takes it up to the 33. Ball comes out of there, look like. Mayo says they have it. Waiting to see what happens at the bottom of that. Official saying that Lafayette got it back, I believe.
Yeah, well, there are about 3 different exchanges in that pile-up probably.
Big Jed Wills might have helped out recover that one. That could have been a scrum at the bottom. And, Coach, what a U.S. Olympic team this year, huh? My goodness, that gymnastics team, the women with Simone Biles. And, boy, that swimming, that USA swimming team, my goodness. Phelps has already won, 4 gold, going for a 5th tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. The only disappointment has been the girl.
Brown's pass knocked down.
Yeah, there's not.
And we apologize for that. We were off momentarily. Somebody knocked us off the air here in the box going through. They're leaving the press box. It's not even halftime.
Action on the field, action in the press box.
I know it, Coach.
But we got to play defense up here now.
Anything can happen in the scrimmage.
Anything can happen.
It's a scrimmage.
That's right.
Regular season kicks off next Friday night. Walker Wood set the punt. We're late in the first half, 4 minutes and 40 seconds. And Lafayette leading 13-0. And probably in the third quarter, Coach, we're not going to see many starters. I wouldn't think.
I don't think so.
Woods punt, high punt, fair catch being called,
nice.
And up at the 39, hauled in there by Smith.
Brian Smith did a nice job. There was a crowd around him. He stepped in there, made a really valid fair catch signal, put the ball away. Nice job, Brian.
So Mayo will have it, and I think a critical series here for the Bulldogs, Coach. I'll tell you why. They'll have most of their ones in there with 4:33 to go, and probably the last time, or maybe one of the last times, that we'll see their starters, and they haven't put anything up on the board yet.
No, and they've shot themselves in the foot a few times, but most of the damage is being done by the defensive line from Lafayette. They're just shutting those holes down. Higgs has had some breaks, some good runs, but they've been on the outside mostly.
Triple receivers to the top for Thomas. Cheshire played that one series. It's pretty much been Thomas. He fakes to Hicks, fires. It almost picked off. And I tell you, the Lafayette defender over there, Quantez Cooper, has a good point. The male player grabbed him so he couldn't pick the ball off. Is that legal, Coach?
No, it's not legal. Absolutely not. That's just standard holding penalty. That's all it is.
But like you said, everybody's it's an opening game for everybody tonight.
Yeah. The linesman over there.
Cooper pleaded, said, hey, grab me. I had the pick off. Cooper would have taken that to the house.
Cooper looked at the wrong official, though.
Thomas, he's under a lot of duress, and he's going to be sacked at the 38-yard line. Thomas in there on top of him. Nicely done, and I tell you, that's a nice play turned in by McCoy. McCoy, of course, has the he knocked the ball away and then picked it up and scoop and score. He has a touchdown. Ian Shaw has a 5-yard TD run. 3rd down and long for Mayo. 3 minutes and 58 seconds to go here in the first half. Lafayette up 13-0. Thomas gives to Higgs. He's got some running room and then knocked down at the 42-yard line. And coming up to get him was Black, Desmond Black, the senior Mike linebacker.
You know who else has impressed me is Dylan McKinney for Lafayette, 6 foot, 260-pound senior, number 50. And the reason I'm saying that is I'm watching his pursuit. He's well coached. He's taking the correct pursuit angles. He's getting to the ball, and he's gotten in a lot of these tackles.
Cheshire will punt for Mayo, and Morgan back deep to receive for Lafayette. 3 minutes, 15 to go, first half action. We've been told by the coaches that we'd only see the starters in the first half and then the second team in the second half. So we'll give you all those guys' names and numbers at that point. Here's Cheshire's punt. He's the backup quarterback, played one series. Morgan driven back at the 22, bobbles it and picks it up and then dropped immediately by Smith at the 21-yard line.
Yeah, you don't bobble those punts like that. You better be real careful of that in the future. That come back to haunt you.
Brian Smith there making the stop, 2:56. We've seen Quentin Brown go most of this quarter at quarterback for Lafayette. Walker Wood started. Wood engineered that opening drive, Coach Meehan, and took him down 70-plus yards for the Ian Shaw touchdown, opening drive of the game, and looked pretty good, I think, at points. But then again, it is the preseason.
Yeah, very impressed with his presence, his game presence, his poise, his ability to change a play from the line of scrimmage. His arm was a little bit off. I think he would admit that too, but he's developing that strength as the season goes on.
I agree.
And they didn't run him like they normally would too. I mean, they love to run that young man.
Quentin Brown with twins both sides and Morgan in the backfield. Gives to Morgan running hard, and he is hit and dropped by one of the big D linemen, and that's number 59, Isaac Young, a really good-looking sophomore.
And Mickens again, Gary. We've called his name so many times on tackles.
You're exactly right. That was Mickens, not his backup. I thought it was 59. It was. Of course, I do my own spotting for you folks watching. I don't have a spotter up here, do I, Coach?
Nope. You have your binoculars, and that's it.
That's it. Second down. Approaching the end of the first half, 2 minutes plus, 13-0 Lafayette. Brown's been in pretty much at quarterback. Throws it over the middle. He's got his man up to the 25-30, breaking tackles, 35-40, and to the midfield stripe and run out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Finally run out, and that is Newcomb, Teodre Newcomb, the sophomore.
Yeah, and I tell you what, number 8 for Mayo, Robert Sheffield, again, he had the angle, and he had that 12th defender in that sideline and did a good job of corralling him on the sideline. But that's a big play again. Lafayette sees him making the big plays.
38-yard play, Coach. You're right. Big 38-yard play with 2:11 to go, first half. Lafayette, remember, they missed the field goal, or it would be 16-0. They missed that. It was only about a 22-yarder, wasn't it, Coach?
Yes, it was.
Let's see what Quentin Brown does here. You said he won kind of weightlifting or something?
Right.
Competition?
Yes, powerlifting.
Powerlifting. Here's Brown to the 35, run out down inside. Let's see where they mark him at. About to 33.
33 out of bounds, stop the clock with, clock's still running, 1:56 to go. Lafayette would love to get another one here, but they can't afford to make a boo-boo. Big mistake, throw an interception or something.
Yeah, I thought he got out of bounds there, and so did the Lafayette sidelines. They're wondering why the clock is running. Maybe, the clock operator, it's his first game this year too.
Yeah.
Officials, players, broadcasters.
And clock operator might just want to
get to the halftime.
But Coach Shaw said, I'll put a stop to that
myself.
I'll just stop it myself.
So, Coach Eric Shaw, if you're wondering about that name, it's familiar. Former Cincinnati Bengal Eric Shaw played for the Bengals for a few years and now high school football coach. We'll step out the White Greer Maggard High School Game of the Week, 13-0. Lafayette on top here, leading Louisville Mayo 13-0. We'll be back on the White Greer Maggard Game of the Week.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White Greer and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White, Greer, and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
Sorta you isn't you. White, Greer, and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
Gary Ball with Coach Meehan back here, and it's 2nd down and about 4 for Quentin Brown and the Generals. Brown takes a snap, looks far, throws over the middle, and what a catch down at the 25-yard line. That is a spectacular catch turned in over there, and that was Guilfoyle.
Guilfoyle.
His 4th big catch of this half.
Yeah, Mr. Brown, though, wow. Quick release. He just got that ball. He knew where he was going to go with it. Zipped the ball. It was on a clothesline. It was so sharp.
By the way, Brown is a senior, if you're wondering, because Walker Wood is obviously the quarterback, but Brown's pretty good. Brown fires, and it nearly caught incomplete down at the intended receiver. It was Morgan. That ball might have been tipped by a male player before it got to Morgan, Coach. It looked like from up here in the press box.
Yeah, actually it was tipped. It was almost intercepted by number 5, Nathan Hobbs, the 6-foot, 170-pound senior who stepped right in front of that ball, but it went through his hands.
2nd down and 10. Gary Ball, Coach Mike Meehan, William Warfield here on PrepSpin in high definition. There you see Ishmael Stadium and the field. Boy, Lafayette sidelines fired up. They played this male team in the state championship game last year. Here comes pressure. Brown throws it. It's picked off. Picked off a male, and they slide up to the 32-yard line. But it's picked off by the male Bulldogs, and that was one of the big linebackers, Trey Cheney, the senior, picked it off.
Read the eyes of the quarterback. Quarterback locked in on that receiver the whole way, and Cheney just did a really good job of reading his eyes and picking the ball off.
And we want to tell the folks watching that at halftime we've got some very special interviews coming up with some nice players. Coach Shaw, Walker Wood, and Jed Wills.
I'd like to hear those guys. Maybe Wills will – hey, do you think Wills will commit on the air?
Well, he'd have to have a hat, wouldn't he? You got to have the hat, put the hat on. You know, you can't do it without the hat.
Yeah, and I don't think Coach Shaw would permit that in an interview.
You got to bring the hat over here to do that. 1st down on the interception by Cheney. 1st down for Mayo. Thomas over to the near side. Higgs, he catches it. Higgs up to the 40, and Higgs pulled down.
He's dangerous.
41-yard line. Davion Higgs and the linebacker, number 41, they're making the stop. That is Bryson Hallett.
Yeah, the ball's just getting to him a little slow. That's, again, like a little too much air under that football.
Just 51 seconds left here, 1st half, and T.J. Thomas back, fires now, and a little hitch there again, but it's caught, and down into Lafayette territory to the 46 is going to be Ritchie. That hitch doesn't seem to be as obvious now, does it, for Thomas? Still got a little bit of it, though.
Yeah, but again, Lafayette's backed off pretty good. Their safeties are back about 15, 13 yards. Dual safeties, putting a little pressure on the slots.
13-0. Mayo trying to score here before halftime with 42 seconds. Throw and catch down to the 30-yard line. That's the big tight end there. Rashawn McCauley, 195-pounder. McCauley making the catch from Thomas.
Yeah, I think you're right, Gary. I watched him that time. In the first part of this scrimmage, there was a little hitch in his throw where he was cocking his arm and holding it for a second on a little jerky motion. But that time he fired the ball pretty well.
I want to thank all the boosters here at Lafayette, Coach Shaw for having us out here, and special shout out to Sergeant Anthony Steinman. He's over in Iraq watching.
beautiful scene here now. I mean,
yeah, you can see Commonwealth Stadium from up here in the press
Commonwealth
box.
Stadium standing up all proud, nice, beautiful new.
The train going by here, the train tracks.
And again, you mentioned it early. The student section for Lafayette
is out strong. They're out
that's
strong.
Amazing. They're really out strong.
We got a nice crowd, and you can't see it because our lone camera is shooting toward the male side, which is pretty sparse. This Lafayette side's about 2/3 full over here. This is a scrimmage game.
It is.
Am I right?
Yeah, a lot of adults, parents, great student support.
38 seconds here. Well, that was a nice pass to McCauley, Coach. What kind of route did he run?
Yeah, that was that same thing. He was running down, running a little hitch. They're getting underneath the beyond the corners and underneath the safeties. But again, Lafayette's playing soft now.
Yeah, blitz being shown, and here comes a flag. Somebody might have jumped there for male. A lot of people were pointing as the blitz came. 37 seconds in the first half. False start against male. We'll move it back to the 34. Be 1st and 15.
Yeah, I think what happened there was the movement of those linebackers. You said the blitz, when they stepped up and faked, and Thomas, I don't know, he kind of felt the blitz and held his count a little bit, and one of the linemen jumped.
He has Davion Higgs in the backfield, and it's going to be another jump false start there.
That could go either way.
So you're saying they might get their 5 yards back?
Well, the edge player might have forced that jump by stepping into the line of scrimmage.
The official's heading like he's going back the other against male, like he's going back even further.
Yep. 63 jumped because the defensive edge player stepped into the neutral zone on that. A little sloppy here today.
Yep. Yeah, this first half, it kicked off a little bit after 7, so.
Now the field's in shade now. The whole field is in shade, so the heat factor might be going away a little bit.
36 seconds, and it's 13-0. Lafayette on top with the male Bulldogs. And this last minute's taken about 10 so far because of all the penalties. At halftime, we got some special interviews for you Lafayette fans with Coach Shaw. Also, interview with Walker Wood, the quarterback, and Jed Wills, the All-American lineman. And when you say All-American, you mean it.
Yeah, no kidding.
5-star recruit. Alabama's offered him. What do you think he'll end up going, Coach?
I don't know. A lot of these young guys get these big-time offers, and then they end up going, down a little bit.
Catch by Bibb.
Look at
Bibb,
that.
the 25 down to the 20-yard line. Boy, Ethan Bibb came back for that one. Coach, you talked about that. Did you got to, change your route, come back for the ball, and that's exactly what Bibb did that time.
Right now, they're just going to spike the ball here to stop the clock, I would think, because that clock's going to start running.
Or call a timeout.
You going back to what you said about Sheffield. What I meant by that was, if the Alabamas, he's going to have to sit behind somebody for a couple years before he plays.
You mean Jed Wills?
Yes, and Sheffield, too. When you talk about these athletes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but that could go to another school who are looking for that athlete to step in and play right away. So you can't predict where these young people are going to go to play.
But I tell you what, I'm impressed with this coaching staff at Lafayette and the job they've done with this defense. 13-0 Lafayette. We're still in the first half, folks. That's right. This has been a very long first half. It's a scrimmage game, but we're approaching an hour and a half of the first half.
Now, if we're lucky enough or blessed enough really to cover Lafayette again in the future on PrepSpin, I would like to get an interview with the offensive line coach and defensive line coach. Because these guys have done a tremendous, or it's the same guy. I don't know if it's
Gary McPeak coaches the O-line.
Yeah, Gary McPeak. They've done a super job in the last couple of years of turning this program around with these big guys.
Lafayette Generals 12-3. If I'm not mistaken, Coach, those 12 wins it's been a long time since Lafayette had 12 wins in football. Am I not correct on that one?
I'm pretty sure it might go back to the 60s. I'm not sure, though.
Male was 15-0 last year with wins over St. X and Trinity. If you just tuned in, Male has defeated Trinity and St. X 9 out of the last 10 times. They've got a 4-game winning streak against X. They've beaten Trinity 5 out of the last 6 times they've played them. That is in itself remarkable.
Remarkable. And they're running a 21-game winning streak right now.
That's right.
Now this doesn't count, obviously. Now we're not gonna say this interferes anything with what they're going to do the rest of the year.
Right.
Because once these young guys get experience, they're going to get better and better.
But you know, right now, the way Male is starting to gel a little bit with their quarterback, he's made some nice completions on this drive. They're probably thinking, I don't know why they got 30 minutes back up on we were down to 30 seconds, I believe. Yeah, there we go, 31 seconds. Clock operator, he's a little rusty too.
Yeah, 30 minutes, that would really make this a long half.
Yes, be the longest half in history. 13-0. Lafayette on top of Louisville Male. Gary Ball, Mike Meehan, and William Warfield, our producer, King of Stream, makes it all look good for you. Thomas, back to pass, looking deep down the middle.
Oh, he got him.
Touchdown to Smith.
Oh, my. You know what they did? I almost said something. They were in that same dual safety with the safeties on the hash, easily can cover the deep pass. And just before the ball was snapped, one of the safeties sneaked up looking for maybe a hitch in the middle to knock the ball down or intercept it. And Male had a play called right over that spot where he stepped up.
Wow, that was nice.
I don't know if that was luck or just really good play calling or a mistake on Lafayette's part.
And so Eric Sorensen will come in with the extra point to try to make it 13-7 here before halftime. Sorensen's kick is up, and it is perfect. So Lafayette 13, Male 7, 26 seconds. At halftime, we'll have some special interviews for you here. We'll be back on the White Greer Maggard High School Football Game of the Week.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White Greer and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White Greer and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No.
Sorta you isn't you. White, Greer, and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
Gary Ball, Mike Meehan back here with just 26 seconds to go here before halftime, and Male just struck. Well, I tell you what, Thomas threw a nice pass that time to Brian Smith.
Nice pass, a serious mistake on Lafayette's defense in shifting that safety out of that zone. And I don't know. They had the play called, perfect play for that against that defense.
Sorensen's kick. It's going to be a squibber, bounce around. And looks like it's going to be scooped up and returned to the 30 and finally out of bounds over on the far side. McCoy, the return. McCoy looks like he's paced for a nice campaign this year as a 6'2", 225-pound senior. Male sidelines over there taking a long look at number 22. They're saying, man, he looks like a pretty good football player when he got that ball nibbling over on the sideline there in front of the Male bench.
I do like him. I like his size. He's a perfect size for the positions he's playing, too. And he's very aggressive.
So Male finally scored it at the 31-second mark of the first half, Coach. They scored on a 25-yard touchdown pass from Thomas to Brian Smith.
And they're in the game. If this was a game, they'd be in the game.
But we're thinking from what the coaches told us, we're going to see maybe the JV guys here in the second half.
Well, the first group for Lafayette, especially defensively, did a super job in this scrimmage. Offense, too, obviously. They've got a good offense, but defensively, I was impressed.
Yeah, Brown's just going to take a knee and let that first half clock run out. So the Lafayette Generals would take a 13-7 lead into the locker room here at halftime. Lafayette 13, Louisville Male 7, the defending state champs. And we'll come back, and William will have some great interviews for you from Lafayette's coach and a couple of their big-name players here at halftime. It is Lexington Lafayette 13, Louisville Male 7 on the White Greer Maggard High School Football Game of the Week. –
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Kentucky's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Kentucky High School Athletic Association and the Kentucky High School Athletic Directors Association.
It's a scrimmage, but we're going to come in. We've treated the whole week of practice the same as any other practice. It's a regular season game for us. It's going to be a good chance for our young guys to play as well, open up the season, and get us all back in the groove for the opener against Dunbar next week. I'm excited. We got a lot of good talent coming back, and some new kids that didn't play last year. They're going to step up and I think make an effect on this football team. There's a lot of names. If I name them all, we'd be here all day. I think we got a lot of good players, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. The biggest thing for me, I've just been working on still constantly trying to be a leader, and having these guys around me want to play for me, and I want to play for them. We all love each other. We're out here. It's a brotherhood, and when a bunch of guys see the same thing and have a common goal, it's hard to stop. It was a good summer, just getting back healthy, staying strong, doing a lot of things, strengthening and getting better, and just hanging out with the guys. Yes, sir. We got a lot coming back, and I think we've always had a bunch of confidence, no matter if we would have made it to the state championship or not. This is a confident group of guys. That's just how it's been, and that's whether we're walking around town or playing football, and I just think that's how we roll, and I think that's how we like it, and we enjoy playing like that. All 15 weeks, we care about them all the same. It's all just a regular game. Any other nights, it's just another Friday night, so it doesn't matter who we're playing. It's about us. We got to focus on how we play and what we do. I'm excited to be up there. Love the Big Blue Nation, and I'm enjoying my senior year, but I can't wait to get up there and play with Landon Young, and I love the coaches up there, and they're doing a lot of great things at UK right now, so I'm excited to be there.
We've been hungry all summer, and of course, they're the team that we played in the state finals last year, so we made it to our goal in state, and we're looking for that win to be state championships, but of course, we fell short. This Friday, we're just going to fight to the end and hopefully come out with that win and outlook on the season, just trying to finish the state championships and leave my senior year along with Walker out with a bang. No, we're all still hungry, all still fighting as a team, being brothers with each other, and just sticking from shoulder to shoulder to the end. But we lost a few big aspects of the team, like our corners and Landon Young and Mason Allstat was our left tackle, and then one of the leading rushers in the state. Mainly it's just whoever comes in next, step in that spot and come to fulfill them so we can have the same team as last year. I think that, honestly, in my opinion, I think that will be better than last year. Coach Shaw is a great coach, one of the best coaches I've ever played for. And he makes us fight. He makes us want that dog to come out the inside of us, just to dominate our opponent from week to week and stick together. He stresses family all the time because without them you can't do anything. And you're strong as your weakest link. That's something that we hear all the time.
Well, last year was a great turnaround for us. When I took over the program, we went from 3-8 to 8-3 to 12-3, and finishing up in the state finals. Disappointed that we didn't win because I thought we had a great opportunity to do that. Sometimes those things happen. Very excited about this year. To be able to do something like that, once you get there, it's kind of easy to implement some things to make sure you continue to perform at a high level. So, very excited. Oh, yeah, and that's the expectation. We Landon Young and Mason Allsted, Tavares Blair, DeQuise Sharp, Ricky Johnson, some of those other guys, Vince Hill. We lost some big pieces there. But the expectation is that we know they're going to graduate at some point. Those that are in line waiting need to step up and perform. Some more of those. You can never have enough of them. Very blessed, and I'm very humbled to be able to coach a group of young men like I've had the opportunity to do. Keyword scrimmage. Keyword last year. This is about a new year and trying to find out what goes where to make sure what we're doing is appropriate for the skill set that we have. It's an evaluation process is what this scrimmage is. Yes, it's male, and that's great. I'm glad we have an opportunity to scrimmage a team with that type of caliber, talent. So it'll be a good test for us to see us perform under pressure. This class has always been tough, and it's going to be hard. Everyone is going to work their butts off because everybody's goal is to finish up in the state championship.
White, Greer, and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
Welcome back here to halftime of the Lafayette male scrimmage game. Gary Ball, Coach Mike Meehan, thanks to the folks here for the hospitality and bringing us lunch up here in the press box. Coach, it was the first half that was pretty much dominated by Lafayette, but you look up at the scoreboard, it's only 13-7, so male's got to be feeling pretty good about things right now.
They do, and I think it was a pretty good defensive game on both sides. But, they always say that defenses are always ahead at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
Offenses have to catch up. And actually, honestly, Gary, it should have been 13-0. The mistake by Lafayette in their coverage allowed the touchdown at the end.
And they had the chip field goal for about 22 yards or plus. They also had another opportunity at first and goal. So Lafayette easily could have 16 or 20 points here right now. But Male did get that late first half touchdown on that pass from Thomas as he went down the field to, of course, Smith. And we talked about B.K. Smith in the pregame, Coach, what a big factor he's going to be for Louisville this year. He's going to be another – of course, you remember Keon Wakefield, the All-Stater from the last couple of years.
Yeah, they lost some really key players. And, again, we've mentioned it over and over. Male has a lot of inexperience at every position. But, again, they're athletic and they're well coached. So, you're going to see them they're going to be all right, although I think Trinity and St. X are gunning for them this year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because they've beaten them 9 out of the last 10 times. Our opener will be next Friday. PrepSpin will be over. White Greer Maggard game of the week will be at Lexington Catholic. It'll be Boone County. My Rebels come calling to take on the Lexington Catholic, and we'll have, what's that, William? The HD video on that game as well. Thought for a moment it might just be audio, but Bill Ransdale will join me for the call of that one. So Dollar Bill, as I call him, Dollar Bill will be with us for that one, Coach, to fill in for Coach Meehan, who's out of town next weekend. And also a shout-out to Gary. I think there were some Lanes watching, too. Brandon, I believe that was one of them, or Brendan, down in Florida watching. Their brother played tonight, so shout-out to the Lanes down there in Florida. Gary Durbin, you said, he's watching tonight. Of course, Gary's son Brett was the former quarterback here. A good friend of mine, Jim Dinger's son, was quarterback here back in the early 2000s for Lafayette's team that won the district championship. And Dave Kravitz's son, that was a big lineman on that team. I know William knows Mr. Kravitz as well. So
now I can go way back.
Yes,
with
you
Lafayette.
can. I was wondering about that.
I can go way back with Lafayette. When I first started coaching at Bryan Station, one of the head coaches for Lafayette was Jim Pointer, and Jim Pointer was a running back coach at the University of Kentucky when I was there playing running back.
When you're running back at Kentucky. So folks may not know that about Coach Meehan. He played at the University of Kentucky, I believe, back in the 60s. That sound about right, Coach?
Yeah, I like the way you say that. Back in the 60s. That's right. Back in the 60s.
Before this young whippersnapper was even born over here, you were playing running back at the University of Kentucky. We're talking about William Warfield. Well, the lights are on here at Ishmael Stadium, and it's really cool down here as the sun has gone down here. That first half, by the way, kicked off at 7. That was an hour and 30-minute first half. The first quarter was 45 minutes.
Yeah, it went on and on that first quarter. But again, there were some breaks in it. The officials called breaks for water and so on. So,
right.
We're all right. We're okay.
So we're set for the second half. We're going to see a lot of backups, as you might well expect in a scrimmage game, and it's 13-7. So we'll see a lot of the JV players for both teams, and maybe even down some freshmen, Coach.
I know, and I'm going to lead you into something here that you just mentioned to me by starting off with this. We had mentioned earlier about the offensive line coach for Lafayette, Gary McPeak, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, Gary McPeak, if my information is correct, has been selected to coach in the 2017 Under Armour All-American game on January 1st, which is going to be on ESPN.
Right, that's exactly right. And you know what? I think Jed Wills is going to be playing in that game, the All-American from Lafayette, who's everybody is coveting. Alabama's offered him, and he's narrowed his list down to 5 or 6. Kentucky fans watching this game, they realize he has Kentucky. And you know the reason he has Kentucky on his list, his good buddy Landon Young is playing there right now, who played tackle with him last year here. And one of his best friends on the team, Walker Wood, is already committed to UK next year, the senior quarterback for Lafayette this year. Mail loaded last year, loaded. Number 8 in the country, undefeated, beat St. X, beat all the powerhouses, Trinity, everybody, knocked them out. But they lost 16 starters. But I tell you what, Coach, I do like what I'm seeing here in this Chris Wolf football team. No quit, no die. They were down 13-0, being dominated. They scored in the last 30 seconds of that first half to quite simply make this a football game, 13-7 here as we get set for the second half.
Right, and they cleaned up their stuff a little bit, too. At the beginning, there were little hitches in the quarterback throwing. There were some penalties they didn't really need, and they've cleaned that up. We mentioned before, Gary, and you covered the game, so I really want your opinion about this. There were 3 big teams last year in the state championships, Lafayette included, but Lafayette, they were down a little bit at the end of the game.
Mail was the best team in the state last year. It's not even close.
Mail, Bowling Green's
very good, but they weren't the level of Mail last year.
But a lot of people tell me that Belfry could have beaten a lot of these 4, 5, and 6A teams.
Belfry's team, their line, would have given anybody problems, but I don't know if athletically they could have matched up with Mail last year, even though Belfry's 3A, Mail's 6A, so therefore you got a big difference. But if Belfry and Mail had played the teams last year, it'd been one heck of a football game.
I believe so. And you talk about 2 well-coached teams.
Oh, my goodness. Philip Haywood, one of the best in the business, just went in the Hall of Fame.
And one of the best.
He's in a number of Hall of Fames. And
one of the best people, too, by the way.
Yeah, great guy, and started his coaching career at Meade County with Jim DeVries down there at Meade County.
Yes, Meade County, one of the most welcoming places I've ever been.
You took the words right. You and I went down there a couple of years ago and did a playoff game, Henry Clay and Meade County, and, man, the hospitality was second to none down there in Brandenburg.
Yeah. Right. I thought Heck, after the game, I thought they were going to offer us room and board.
It would have been at the bed and breakfast. It would have been open.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They knew Coach Meehan was coming to town.
That was fun.
Rolled out the red carpet.
We're talking about McPeak. I bet he's one of the McPeaks, like the coach up in Raceland.
He is. Fairview.
Fairview.
And he's a former. The reason I know Gary so well, he's a former Horseman coach. When I did the play-by-play for the Horsemen for 6 years, the arena football team that won a couple of championships. He was one of our top assistants there, as was Bill Ransdale. Ransdale was our OC, our offensive coordinator. Zuckerman was our head coach for a while, and Mike Harmon was our head coach for a while. So
Mike Harmon, I know Zuckerman some. He's a great guy. Mike Harmon, one of the finest people I think I've known. Did a super job coaching all the way through his career. Had to retire a little early, I think.
I tell you what, Chris Wolf, what a job he has done. What a job he has done at Louisville Male, Coach. You just cannot underscore it. What a job Wolf has done. And what a job Eric Shaw's done here at Lafayette.
Well, let's educate these people a little bit if they don't know. Male has an H on their helmet.
Yes, sir.
And why is that?
Old school.
They have an H on their helmet because when Manual and Male decided to pick their logo on their helmet, I guess it was the coin toss or something. But Manual, let's see, one of them, Manual won the M, and so Male just said, okay, we'll just put H on there for high school. So that's what the H stands for, high school.
Gotcha.
And I think Male was the original
you're exactly
all-girls school, and then Male was the original all-guys school. I don't know my Louisville history that well, but I've heard that story.
Oh, you're exactly right, because that Male Manual game is how the rivalry series started, and you're right. That's how that started, and looks like might be covering that game again this year in October. I think it's at Male this year. It was at Manual last year.
That's a war.
You've done that game with me a few times,
yes,
Coach.
That's a tough one. I hope we have an opportunity to do East and West Jessamine. Talk about a local rivalry.
I'm not sure when that game is, but William Warfield is, he's a Nicholasville guy over there. So we're set for the second half. Sutton Averitt will kick off. Let's see who's back deep. It is Smith and also Hobbs back deep for Male.
Very dangerous.
Low kick. It will be Hobbs at the near side, the 20. He's out to the 25 and breaking tackles up to the 35-yard line. Nice return there by Nate Hobbs.
A nice job, a shoestring tackle. Maybe a number 21, maybe.
Well, they had their starters back there returning a kick. So, Coach, maybe they are going to play the starters a little bit here to start the second half.
Or maybe they just want the starters to have their, the kicking game worked on. We'll see.
I think Cheshire's going to trot out as the quarterback.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah, Cheshire will be your quarterback. Davion Higgs is the running back. So it looks like it is. Male does have their starters in there. We were told that third quarter would be their second team.
Well, so maybe a series. They might give them a series.
Give them a series here. Second half starts, 13-7 Lafayette. And
there he goes.
Quarterback gives to Higgs, diving up to the 40 and tripped up there. Nice play by Tyrone Williams, a big 250-pound junior defensive lineman.
Higgs is going to be a workhorse this year. They're running the inside zone again, and the linemen are all blocking zone.
Picked up 5, and quarterback Cheshire fires, and it is going to be caught first down.
Nice job.
Up to the 46-yard line, and it's caught over there by Smith. He had the touchdown pass there at the end of the first half for Male. So as we start the second half, Male moves the chains up to the 45-plus, almost the 46. It'll be 1st and 10 on that catch by Brian Smith from Cheshire. Cameron Cheshire, the junior quarterback, gives to Higgs, dances into the line and up to the 48-yard line. And nice play turned in there by McCoy.
Yeah, little trap play that time. They pulled the backside guard and to kick out on the tackle there. And nice little gain. This guy, Higgs is – these running backs are going to be real workhorses, I think, for Male. Male's got a better running game than you might imagine.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I agree. Lane helped out on that play as well. 2nd down and 8 for the Male Bulldogs, defending state champs. Riding a 21-game regular season winning streak. Cheshire over the middle, intercepted by Lafayette. Picked off, rumbling and tumbling down to the 43-yard line is a big number 5 for Lafayette. Brandon Lane, the big 6'2 senior. Lane, boy, the folks down in Orlando watching tonight on PrepSpin, they'll love that down there. They're either brother or somebody related to him just made a nice interception.
That's right. Boy, I tell you what, you can start celebrating down there in Orlando. That was an excellent job.
You got family down that way, don't you, Coach?
I have family in Tampa and family in Orlando. You're right. Yes, I do. In-laws in Orlando. Good people all the way down there.
Well, just like Coach Meehan, talk about good people. You're no longer president of the church parish, so are you stepped down for a couple of years? I did my 3-year term, and we did a good job, and I enjoyed it and worked with great people. And how big was that interception by Lane to turn the tide a little bit? Because Mayo had a lot of momentum going.
They were moving the football, running the ball too.
Brown gives to Malik to Edwards, and he stiff arms a man outside, still on his feet, still going down to the 40-yard line. Nice job there by Edwards, boy. Daquan Edwards, he stiff-armed a man back at midfield, Coach, and he got all the way down to the 40-yard line.
Good speed and nice stiff arm. You're right. Good, strong stiff arm.
Mayo should have had him back, way back.
Yeah, he bounced back, and that should have been a tackle for a loss. But credit the young man for a good second effort.
So, again, we may be seeing a lot of the ones, although Walker Wood only played in the first quarter, but they want to save him for that regular season opener, don't they, Coach?
They sure do.
Twins both signed for the Generals. Second down. Edwards in motion. Fake to him. Brown's going to tuck it. Brown, he breaks a tackle. He stiff arms a man, and Brown gets down. Nice play to the 38-yard line. And looked like Harrison Hobb, 56, is the one who made that play defensively.
Right.
I think the PA guy thought it was 58. It was actually 56.
Yeah, 56.
So 3rd down and 4 for Lafayette. 9.5 to go in the third. And Generals holding on to this lead against Mayo, 13-7. Gary Ball, Coach Mike Meehan, William Warfield, our producer, the king of stream, we call him, Coach.
And he is the king. There are more buttons and wires and computer stuff up here than you can imagine.
He's like a pilot in a cockpit up here.
He is.
3rd down. Brown high snap, gives now to Robinson, and he takes it down to the 35, but it's going to be about a yard shy of the first down. Javarius Ballhead Robinson. We got to find out where that ballhead came from, don't we, Coach?
We do,
that nickname.
But, I'm not going to be the one that asks that question.
Here comes Ian Shaw. He had, of course, a 5-yard TD run, Coach's son, and he is a good one. Ian Shaw will play some – he's only a junior, Coach. He will play some college football.
It's great to see these juniors and sophomores coming in for both of these teams and playing.
So 4th, and they better get this play off. They're going to run out of time here, and it'll be 4th and about 6 instead of 4th and 1. Snap to Brown, high snap. Quinton gets it, cuts it back inside. 1st down and more. Brown still running down inside the 30, the 28-yard line. Finally upended there by Ford, but not before Quinton Brown got the 1st down by plenty. That's a pickup of about 13, Coach.
What's getting me is these gold shoes that Mayo's wearing. Now that the lights are on, they're flashing all over the place. I tell you what, we're talking about fancy.
When you're number 8 in the country, you probably can wear pretty much whatever you want to, and also gold shoes.
I guess you can.
8 minutes in the third, 13-7. Brown's got the Generals marching. 1st down. Gives now to Shaw. Ian running hard, still on his feet, 20. Ian stretches out for another yardage. What a nice run by Ian Shaw. Man, he was running hard, Coach, danced down, and he got about 8 yards on that run.
Good leg movement, gets his knees up high. Might be running a little high for some teams that will come in here and clean his clock, but he's strong enough to handle that.
Lafayette preseason, one of the top 5 in the state. Mayo, one of the top 5 teams. Trinity. St. X. Who else you like in 6A? A lot of people like that Simon Kenton team up in northern Kentucky.
I was thinking that too. They had a good year last year.
It was this Lafayette team that knocked them out of the playoffs. Brown wanting to throw, and diving effort. Is it caught? Yeah, down inside the 10. Who else? That was Guilfoyle. I like this kid. I like this tight end, Matthew Guilfoyle.
Nice quick release. What do you know about Ryle this year?
Ryle has a young quarterback by the name of Tanner Morgan, and if there wasn't a kid by the name of Walker Wood, he'd probably be the best quarterback in the state. So they're going to be very good, Coach. They're probably to be a top 10 team.
It'll be interesting to watch them.
You didn't think I would know anything about Ryle.
Oh, no, I knew you know those Northern Kentucky teams more than anybody.
So Ryle will be tough. Boone County comes down here next Friday to take on Lexington Catholic. I'll be calling that one with Bill Ransdale on PrepSpin next Friday night from Joseph K. Ford Stadium. Shaw back inside, dancing, 6, pulled back, and still going, but finally tackled there. Shaw pulled. I tell you what, Coach, all of a sudden we're seeing starters here, both ball clubs, with 6.5 to go, 6 minutes and 35 to go in the third quarter, with Lafayette on the march, leading Male 13-7.
Yeah, when you called it, when you said they were going to try to run this like a game, so far it's been pretty much like a regular football game.
You know, I think Wolf and Shaw might have talked a little bit at halftime, and that may be the plan now. Hey, guys, this is too good of a football game to put our JV team in right now.
Maybe. You're not going to see Walker Wood in there, though.
I don't think so. Quentin Brown out of the gun, rolling to the right. Brown cuts it back, and he's going to take it to the house. Touchdown. QB, Quentin Brown.
Unbelievable. Good block.
7-yard TD run for QB, Quentin Brown. He is a strong young man, as you referenced, Coach, with that powerlifting award.
He is.
Very deceptive.
A couple really good blocks out there on that play, too.
And we got to make sure that we're looking down at the – seeing who's on that line, Coach. Looks like that may be some backups on that line for Lafayette. We'll check that the next time, but give those guys credit.
Absolutely. Number 20 had a really good block on that play.
Averett's kick just gets over the crossbar. Just barely, but it counts, Coach.
It counts.
So 6:04 in the third. It's Lafayette 20, Male 7. We'll return here on the White Greer Maggard High School Football Game of the Week.
White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
And we are back at Ishmael Stadium, Lexington Lafayette. Gary Ball, Mike Mee, and William Warfield here on PrepSpin. Scrimmage game between Lexington Lafayette and Louisville Male, two of the top teams in the state of Kentucky. And right now, Coach, 6:04 to go in the third. Lafayette leads 20-7. Here's the Averett kick. Back deep is Hobbs. Hobbs takes it to 12. He's a speed merchant. Track team, 20, 25, 30. Hobbs to the 40, 45. We said he was a speed merchant.
He is fast.
Coach, 7 of the 8, including Hobbs, defensive backs for Male, are multiple sport athletes at Male, track team and basketball and football.
I believe it. And tremendous athletes and showing some talent there for sure. Garrett, it's a real pleasure for us to start our season off with a little warm-up by doing a scrimmage. We've never done scrimmages before.
No, this is in 30-plus years of broadcasting high school football. This is my first scrimmage game. So, but appreciate William Warfield. He's the one that put it together and said, Garrett, I think this is a game we should do. And I said, William, if you tell us to do it, Mike, Mean, and I will be there. So we're here. William's
Absolutely.
Here. I know we got a lot of folks watching and appreciate the live video feed here tonight from Ishmael Stadium. We got a nice crowd in here. This isn't a regular scrimmage game crowd, is it, Coach?
No.
This Lafayette side's almost 2/3 full over here.
It is.
Male's even got some good fans over there along the way.
They do. And they're sitting in the sun for the first part of the game.
Cheshire and pulled back as he delayed handoff. And what a nice play turned in by the Payne kid. I tell you, he's causing a lot of pain. Brandon Lane is causing some pain tonight, I guess I should say.
Brandon's been pretty impressive. Oh, is he coming out? Yeah, he's coming out. I think Coach said, all right, we've seen enough. You've done a lot of damage tonight. Let's give somebody else a chance.
I think we do have a lot. We've got Black in there at linebacker. Looks like Blake. We do have a lot of the backups now for the Lafayette defense.
There's a
and
keeper.
Cheshire keeps it, and Cheshire dives up to the 48-yard line.
I expected to see more of that little zone read, keeping on the backside, little bootleg look. Nice running game. Well, Mail's got a good running game.
Yeah, and they've got their backup running back. That's Aaron Dean Thomas. 34's in there now. They've got some backup receivers in there, Andre Haynes and company. Triple receivers to the top for Cheshire. Dean Harris behind him. Cheshire fakes now, sets up, getting pressure, and Cheshire's going to elude it, throw it, and it is going to be caught by Haynes, and Haynes is up close to the first down marker. So
That's
got it down to the
impressive,
45.
wasn't it? Nice job by Cheshire of avoiding the tackle and throwing a nice pass.
Haynes with the catch for Mayo.
Lafayette straight zone defense. Maybe man-to-man on the far side. Bump and run, we'll see.
Triples to the bottom for Cheshire. Dean Harris to the left. Gives it a running back, Dean Harris, and he is down to the Harris running hard, down to the 30. Finally run out of bounds. What a nice run there by Aaron Dean Thomas.
Lafayette sitting back in zone, and looked like they're a little tired back here, actually. They're not getting to the ball as quickly as they did early in this contest.
4:34 in the third. Lafayette leading Mail 20-7. We got a lot of the backup and a lot of the reserves in the game now for both teams. Pass near side to Haynes again. He's got 30. Haynes to the 25, down to the 23, bulling his way close to the first down marker.
Yeah, they're running that quick screen to death, which is pretty good. They run. They're actually picked up and running a lot of. It's something like the Franklin system that other people ran around here, where the Mazzone guy, Noel Mazzone, who developed this type of offense.
Cameron Cheshire looking for the screen, throws, and it is caught, and that's going to be down to the 15-yard line, and that's going to be the running back, Aaron Dean Thomas, out of the backfield.
That was interesting. They ran a tunnel screen with the outside guy, and the inside guy went outside. I think he was surprised to get the ball. That was a really interesting play.
But you liked it, didn't you?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. A lot of this stuff comes from the offensive coordinator, Mazzone, who's at Texas A&M now.
Pass is going to be dropped incomplete out on the open side of the field. 3:55 to go in the third quarter, and Lafayette leading Mail 20-7 here. Lafayette will open up with Dunbar next Friday night. Mail opens up with, I believe it's Jeffersonville, Indiana. I know it's an Indiana team across the river.
That's close. That's just
That's right across the river.
Next door neighbor,
just the bridge over. That bridge you used to not be able to go over because they were working on it or something. Remember all the construction? Here's a handoff to the running back, Dean Thomas. He's still running. Boy, Thomas is going to be a load, 180-pounder, Coach. Higgs is a junior, and you said Higgs is going to be a workhorse, but this Dean Thomas kid is going to carry the ball some this year for the Bulldogs as well. Right. You can see that on that run.
Right, and he keeps his shoulders down. He runs really good, north and south, shoulders down, legs high.
Let's check some of those new players up front for –
got a timeout here.
You've got Bryce Ramey up there up front now, new player for Lafayette. Looking at some of those down linemen, Coach. Big number 60 for Lafayette. He's not on our two deep, so he's obviously Christian Mobley. He's a senior. He's in there.
Okay, there's a timeout for a measurement, but the officials ask both teams to go to the sideline and get water. Right, nice job by these officials.
Well, I think when it's this warm, you got to give them hydration as well. Right. Matter of fact, when it gets to a certain temperature, I think you're required to take a water break.
Yeah, this might be one of those times because it's pretty humid out.
Yeah, 3:45 in the third. This is the White Greer Maggard. Again, we want to thank White Greer Maggard for sponsoring high school football this year on PrepSpin, along with UK Sports Medicine, Rob Ullery and the staff over there, UK Sports Medicine. All of our sponsors. Of course, Crown Trophy will be providing our Star of the Game plaques this year. Crown Trophy over on Wilhite Drive, just behind Starbucks. Ryan Tyson, the fine proprietor over there. They were the National Retailer of the Year a few years ago, Coach.
That's pretty amazing. You've made some contact with some really great business people in this town.
It's all about building those relationships, isn't it, Coach?
Yep.
Rafferty's,
Yes, sir.
Rafferty, Scott Lindsay, my evil twin.
Oh, Rafferty's.
Got a text from him the other day.
I haven't had one of those prime rib sandwiches in a while.
So Dean Thomas, you got to watch him here. He is to the right of Cameron Cheshire.
Third and very short. 2 links of the chain, really.
Garrett Dennis, a good-looking sophomore. He's in there, the receiver now for Mayo. He's out to the top. Quarterback Cheshire keeps it. 5. Cheshire cuts back, hit hard.
Woo, he got stuck.
Yeah, he got stuck hard at the 3-yard line, and big-time hit put on. And I tell you, put that hit on him was Brian Hallett. Bryson Hallett, a senior. Man, he put a pop on him.
Yeah, Bryson they're gonna get his attention watching the film when they watch that video of this. Boy, I tell you, that was a hit and a half.
Got the first down, though, so 1st and goal inside the 5. Handoff goes to running back, and he dances in for the touchdown. That's Dean Thomas, Aaron Dean Thomas.
Nice little offensive team they've got out there now, Mayo. Good blocking up front. Like you said, there's some new people in there. Nice blocking up front. Pretty good job opening up the holes. Dean Thomas looks real good.
Yes, he looks excellent, as we said. He'll get some carries this year for Mayo. This is just a scrimmage game for the Bulldogs, and we'll see here what they do with this extra point coming here from Sorensen. Eric, one of the top place kickers in the state, coming back this year. Snap back, Sorensen's kick is up, and it is going to be perfect. So 3:27 in the third, and Mayo's right back in it. Lafayette 20, Mayo 14 here. And we'll return on the White Greer Maggard High School Football Game of the Week here on PrepSpin.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White Greer and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White Greer and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No. Sorta you isn't you. White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
Gary Ball, Coach Mike Meehan, William Warfield back here. We're late in the third quarter. What a great high school football night. Great high school football teams. And, Coach, terrific scrimmage game. 20-14. Lafayette leads here late in the third quarter. Mayo just went in and scored from their fine running back, Aaron Dean Thomas, with about a 4-yard TD run.
And beautiful field. This field is just wonderful. And we got to say now, we've been treated pretty well by the boosters here.
Yes, we have. They have been outstanding.
Liquid refreshment and some food here.
Sergeant Anthony Steinman's wife doing a great job, Sergeant, over there in Iraq, and they're doing a great job here with the boosters at Lafayette. Here's the kick. Drives Lafayette back, and it's going to be a touchback. Sails over the head. One of the backup players there, Teadre Newcomb, was back there, Coach, the sophomore.
It's a good kick, wasn't it? Good kick. We're going to see a lot more of that this year from the kickers, I think.
Yeah, and, of course, Averett has done a nice job kicking off for Lafayette. His kick boomed a couple into the end zone.
How what do you know how Scott County progressing now? Do you know anything about they've been so good.
They've got the quarterback Josh Davis is back, and of course, the Lafayette defeated them last year. But Coach, Scott County's also, they lost Noah Hughes and they lost a guy, but so the running back by committee over there, so they'll be very solid at Scott County as always, and they're chomping at the bit to get back to what they did a few years ago when they just kind of dominated Fayette County play.
Absolutely. They did it for quite a few years.
Here's the handoff going around the right side, and
face mask
pulled down there. That was one of the backup kids. That's number 1, Coach, for Lafayette. Let me find my roster here because they're way deep now, folks. You have to bear with me because we're not even to the backups. We're down to the third. That's Darwin Flores. He's a senior.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be really hard. I know we're listening, wanting to hear your son's name correctly, and I hope we can help you with that, especially with these backups. But it's pretty tough. especially with Lafayette, we only have 2 deep at most positions listed.
Yeah, showing that's Jenna Williams. Sorry, William. Williams outside, but that's Jenna Williams. He showed down there from UK Sports Medicine working on it. We mentioned her a few times. So they got the first down, Coach. Tell us about that play.
Well, they got the first down on the penalty, on the face mask penalty.
Gotcha. Handoff goes left side and pickup of about 2. The quarterback now for Lafayette, trying to get a number on him, Coach. I believe that is Corey Heiss, number 15 for Lafayette. Would that be their 3rd quarterback?
It is.
So Corey, or is that 13? Hard to see number. Austin Serafini, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, Austin
I'm shuffling papers around like crazy up here trying to find this.
Yeah, that is Austin Serafini, number 13. 3rd quarterback we've seen in there in action tonight.
I'll text you where I'm going to be.
High snap. Give it left side up to the 32-yard line, and it's going to beat on that young man. That is Jalen Lawson, the ball carrier. He's a freshman, by the way. So Serafini in at quarterback. We're late in the 3rd period, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. 20-14, Lafayette leading Mail. Lafayette led 20-7. And then Mail moved it down and got a nice TD run by Aaron Dean Thomas. I love those hyphen names, Coach.
That sounds like a lawyer.
Yeah, it does. Serafini back, throws, and it's going to be nearly intercepted, nearly picked off by Mail. There were 2 Lafayette receivers in the vicinity. One of them was Flores, but that was nearly picked off.
Yeah.
Intercepted there by Mail.
Kind of rookie mistake throwing into a crowd like that. But again, that wasn't all the Serafini's fault. There were 2 receivers, like you said, in the same area, and that's a boo-boo. You can't do that. You do not want to draw defenders into where the pass is thrown.
Hobbs and Big Brian Smith are back deep to receive this punt. Averett is punting now for Walker Wood. Wood played about the 1st quarter, Coach? We haven't seen him since.
That's it, yeah. These are 2 good returners back here. I'd be real careful here.
End over end punt by Averett. Bounces 40. Takes a Lafayette roll down near the 35. Still rolling. Could be touchdown inside and no return by Hobbs or Smith. So Mail will have the ball, Coach, with a minute 45 in the 3rd and their first opportunity to take the lead in tonight's football game.
We'll see how they handle it. They've done a good job with their running game, especially here with some of the younger people. So they have an opportunity to move ahead of Lafayette with a good.
I tell you, on that last series, Coach, we saw good running by Aaron Dean Thomas. We also saw sure-handedness by Andre Haynes. Remember, he had a couple of big catches on that drive.
Right. I'm more concerned. A mistake in the passing game will hurt him, though, and they seem to be running the ball so well.
Dean Thomas is back in at running back. He had the TD. Cameron Cheshire hands it to him up the middle. And he bounces it outside the 40, 45, midfield. Still running, finally run out of bounds. Let's see where they mark him at, about the 41-yard line.
Very good speed. Wasn't it getting the corner?
He picked up about 30 yards on that run, Coach.
Yeah, Bryson Hallett made the tackle, forcing him out of bounds.
Saving tackle, really.
Yes, sir.
Minute 37 here in the 3rd. High school football, and penalty's going to move it back.
No, I think he stepped out of bounds.
So they said he did step out there. Gotcha. Right. He was all the way down like he was running to the 30.
Yeah, I thought he was in, but
42-yard line. Cheshire with twins receivers to the top, the open side as they go right to left. Fakes now. Cheshire rolling to the right. Sets,
got him
fires,
open.
throws, and it is going to be caught at the 20 and down to the 10 and to the 5-yard line. And it's hauled in there by Garrett Dennis, the sophomore. They really like this young man at Mail.
I think so, too. I think we're going to see a lot of him this year. What a nice play by the quarterback, though. He kind of scrambled out there, ran a little bootleg look, and the receiver was uncovered on the sideline. Nice job. I like this offense they're running here.
As scrimmages go, Coach, this is pretty interesting.
It is. It really is.
Fake now. Quarterback fires left side to Haynes, and Haynes trying to keep his balance, but he falls down. But he kept it out there late, down to about the 2. Ball came out late, so Brings up second down and
I don't know
goal.
how he caught that ball. That ball was it was filled with air. It was slow getting there. It was high. Did a super job of catching it.
They think Haynes is going to be a college football player as well, the male coaches.
See how they're spreading them out there, Gary?
Yep.
Wide trips on the right side.
Trips to the top.
Run his own.
Cheshire, and that's going to be a touchdown. And Male has tied it up here late in the third. 20-all. The extra point will give them their first lead of the ball game. Remember, they trailed 20-7. So, Coach, that's 13 unanswered for the Bulldogs.
Yep. They're running that wide trips, and when they run it, they move that outside linebacker out of position, run inside of him with a little read by the quarterback.
And Aaron Dean Thomas, second time he scored tonight here. Both of them here in the third quarter, Coach.
He looks good.
52 seconds, 20-all, and this extra point here by Male will give them their first lead of the night. Sorensen, the all-state kicker. Waiting for the snap. Sorensen puts it up, and he is going to give the lead to Male. 21-20. The defending state champs lead Lafayette 21-20. A few heads down over there for the Lafayette side as they come off. 52 seconds. 21-20. We'll be back here on the White Greer Maggard High School football game of the week with Male leading 21-20 here late in the third.
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White Greer and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White Greer and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No. Sorta you isn't you. White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
Well, Coach, the Male Bulldogs with that 21-game winning streak and number 8 in the country ranking last year, defending state champs, they're showing us a little bit why. They may be inexperienced, but they have outplayed Lafayette in the second half by far. They lead 21-20 now after trailing 20-7 here, just 52 seconds in the third quarter.
Yeah, you can't, confidence has a lot to do with football, well, with any sport.
Yeah.
And, they were 15-0 last year. They've got confidence. Even the guys that didn't play a lot feel part of that.
Sorensen's kick taken in at the 5 by the Generals and up to the 20, still running on his feet. He's got some speed. He's at the 35, still going 40. 45 up there midfield, and that's Newcomb. And, boy, Newcomb almost up to midfield. What a great return there, Coach, by Newcomb.
It was. There were a couple what we might call attempts at tackles out there that he just ran right through them.
Olay defense.
Olay. It's fun to watch these guys, though. They're a lot of speed and, quicker than can be. But it'll be interesting to see what Lafayette does here. Lafayette's not going to handle this 21-20 crap very easily.
No.
They're going to want to get back into this thing.
They simply dominated this game the first half, Coach. Dominated.
They did. But not a lot of score.
No, they were only up 13-7 at half.
Right.
Still Serafini, it looks like, is the third quarterback we've seen tonight. They started with Walker Wood, of course, a starter. Then Quentin Brown. Brown looked pretty good, Coach.
Brown looked really good. Nice to have a backup with that skill.
Serafini gives it a running back, and that backup that is Jalen Lawson, the freshman running back. Lawson, his second carry tonight. And Male, they do have some backups in there on that defensive line now, but I do see, Isaac Young's in there, the sophomore at nose. They've also got Dallas Douglas, a sophomore. He's in there, and that may do it for the third quarter, Coach. That's going to do it for the third. As we head to the final quarter, the Male Bulldogs 21, the Lafayette Generals 20 here on the White Greer Maggard High School football game of the week. We'll be back with fourth quarter action here on the PrepSpin High School football game of the week.
This is Oscar Combs. The next time you get hungry, remember this commercial. Then grab your keys and come to Rafferty's. Now, where did you put those keys? Rafferty's, located in Lexington, Louisville, Elizabethtown, Florence, Paducah, and Bowling Green.
White, Greer, and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
Back here for the fourth quarter. That's right, we kicked off at 7 o'clock, so we are now into the fourth quarter here. The first quarter, I think, lasted, 45 minutes, Coach?
Outstanding scrimmage.
It is.
Now, Lafayette, they noticed that number 17, Douglas, is coming in on the handoffs. He's closing down way too quickly. Let's see if they run the quarterback keep here coming up pretty soon.
Tyler C. is in there at that's 13, I believe. C. Yep. Tyler C. is in at quarterback.
Reed Douglas at the end position, at the edge position. If they can get him suckering in on the running play, the quarterback can keep the ball for at least 5, 6, 7 yards.
Lexington Lafayette, Louisville Male. They met for the 6A title last year, Coach.
Yeah, and I think, Lafayette was shocked a little bit. I didn't think, maybe they just didn't realize how good of a team Male was. But you said it. The number of people on that team that have gone on to play college football.
So number 13, Tyler C. He is a sophomore. SCE is in at quarterback. As we start the fourth quarter, for some reason it's taking a long time. Then Tyler C. gets to his running back, hit, and then hit again and drop. Running back that time was Deshaun Taylor. He got nothing, Coach. I tell you, the Male had defenders all over him in the backfield. 2 or 3 of them hit him before he even got a spin going.
Those slow-moving plays like that, they're awful tough against a team that's so quick defensively and covers so quickly.
Yeah, we're seeing how good Male's backups are, aren't we, Coach? That's what we're seeing right now, that Male's backups might be.
Well, it just shows depth. That's what it shows. And maybe Lexington schools, we've had some really good football being played in Lexington, but we just don't quite have the depth that we need sometimes.
C takes a snap, getting pressure right side, and he is going to be sacked. And number 31 got in there to get him, and
that little running back had no chance on that blitz.
And that play was made by Jack Lucas. Lucas made that play. So that brings up fourth down. We're in the fourth quarter, 10 minutes and 50 seconds to go in this one. And Male has their first lead tonight, 21-20, Coach. They have scored 14 unanswered here in the second half after trailing 20-7.
They might get a delay of game because the punt team was all sitting on the bench thinking their night was over.
Or thinking they weren't going to punt.
And they called first punt, I think. And lo and behold, they were all had their helmets off, were sitting on the bench. It looked like Floyd's barbershop over there from Andy Griffith's show. They were all just sitting there, John talking about the town fair.
We got a guy out there. Is that big Jet Wheels that's got towels on? Like he's at the beach?
Yeah,
I'm not sure who that is. Here's Averett, punt, and it will be a fair catch. But I'm not sure. Yeah, they didn't give him. They didn't give him enough room to catch the ball. Somebody ran into him before the ball got there, so that'll be a penalty.
If that's Wills, I thought it was a big Samoan down there or something. That's what it looked like to me. Doing a haka.
He's got shorts on underneath the towel, so he's
Hey,
That is Jed
I spent
Wills.
some time in Hawaii when my son was stationed over there,
Yeah.
and his wife was stationed in Hawaii, and that's where I saw everybody look like that. There's some big people over there playing football.
That's interesting. Obviously, we're not going to see him anymore or Walker Wood.
Yeah, we're
Uniforms for all of these boys can be a big, dirty job, but thanks to Splash Amount Laundry, all our uniforms are spotless each week.
10 minutes to go, Coach Shamin, and Mayo will have the ball. And I tell you what, they've done a nice job of feeding Dean Thomas, the running back. He's got a couple of TDs here in the second half, and their quarterback Cheshire is just feeding the big fella.
Hey, look, he's a good running back. He could play on the number ones, really. Keeps his shoulders down low, runs hard. Lafayette still running the zone look. A little penalty now to Lafayette that we just saw. Interference with a fair catch. So, again, Mayo has an opportunity here. Lafayette they better not fold here. Coach Shaw will not be an easy person to live with here.
And Garrett Dennis, the sophomore, is in at quarterback now for Mayo here in the fourth quarter. He is a sophomore. So Dennis in at quarterback. Aaron Dean Thomas still the running back. You can bet that we've got some new receivers out to the top for Mayo. Dennis out of the shotgun, fakes, fires left side, and it's caught at the 45 to midfield and then pulled down at the 48-yard line, and the catch was made there. And there for Mayo coach, it was Justin Gainey. Catch.
It was a nice catch. And also, that was the first tunnel screen we've seen. We've seen some fast screens on the outside where the receiver just steps forward and steps back and catches it. This was a tunnel screen where he went inside and down the field.
Here's a quick pass to the near side down
nice
to the 42-yard line, Coach.
Woo, good hit. Nice catch, but an excellent hit.
I think that was Haynes who made the catch, wasn't it, Coach?
Haynes who made the catch, but 18 for Lafayette. 28, for Lafayette. Smith came across and just leveled him.
At the level we are now, it's very difficult, as folks watching might guess. We're in probably some of our third stringers. And
nice run.
Running back to the 40 and pulled down at the 40-yard line, and that is Joe Worthy, the ball carrier.
Busted it to the outside, but again, it's pretty tough to make yardage when you try to run against a fast defense like this.
I think that was Hayes, Coach Devontae Hayes, who tracked him down, made that nice defensive play.
Nice defensive play.
8:55 to play, 21-20, Mayo on top. Dennis pump fakes, throws a good ball down the left side, is stretching out for with a catch. And they say, no, he dropped it as he came down. So incomplete. He had it there for a moment.
That was a pretty good throw.
Justin Gainey.
That was a pretty good throw on one-on-one coverage out there. He led him just off the tip of his fingers. He had it for a second, it looked like.
Yeah, he did have it. He dropped it as he came down. You're right, Coach. 8:47 to play. And
Mayo's back in their pistol look.
Third down and 9 now. Fakes now to the running back, sets up throws, and it is going to be incomplete off the hands of the receiver and almost picked off on the old tip drill.
Yeah, you can't overthrow those guys on those plays like that. They're easily picked off.
Yeah, that was Jeremiah Edison, the sophomore, who they say, Coach, as a receiver, if it touches your hands, you should catch the ball. Is that what they say?
Yes, in most cases you're right. Now, all right, they're going for it on fourth down. Wow.
8:41 to play. 21-20, Mayo on top. Been a really, really good scrimmage football game here tonight. Pressure backside.
Running for his life.
And he's going to be sacked. He fumbles the ball, and it's out of there. And let's see. It's going to be Lafayette ball here regardless. So Lafayette will have a good field position on the fumble. So Lafayette will have the ball.
Right, it's going to be their ball anyway, like you said, and a good effort by the Mayo players to get on it to make sure it wasn't scooped up by Lafayette.
So now, Coach, this is why you play scrimmage games. You've got 8:30 to play. You're down 21-20. What are you made of? What kind of championship caliber team are you going to have against one of the best teams in the state male? Can you take one down? And so you've already missed a field goal opportunity in the first half, or you'd be up 23-21. So what can you do here? And this is what Eric Shaw's telling his football team.
Right, and this is what a program is, not a team. There's a lot of good teams year in and year out. But a program takes these backup players and tells them, this is your opportunity to be a general, to show what general football is about.
Tyler C. still in there at quarterback. So C at quarterback. He's been in there for a couple of series now. Walker Wood started and Quentin Brown. C looking, firing, and it's going to be caught. Nice catch, crossing over to the 40-yard line. Trying to get a bead, folks. That is 84 for Lafayette. That's Williams, Kalen Williams.
That was a nice job, too. Nice throw.
Number 84, Kalen Williams.
8:20 to go, and so first down for Lafayette. Boy, I tell you, I like the way C stood in that pocket that time, Coach. Good pocket.
He did a really
presence.
Good job.
Lone back split to his left. C at the 40 out of the shotgun. He's going to tuck it himself. He's at the 40, and he's going to run out of bounds at about the 38-yard line.
Yeah, Mr. C needs to learn if he's going to run out of bounds to really run out of bounds.
Otherwise, that's what's going to happen to you. You're going to get catapulted.
You take that lick you don't really need.
Yeah, licking it keeps on ticking. That was Timex, wasn't it?
That's right.
Remember that old commercial?
Cameron Swayze.
Cameron Swayze. Take a licking and keep on ticking.
We're dating ourselves, Gary.
Well, you know. 7:57 to play. 21-20. Second down for Lafayette. Regular season gets underway next Friday. Delayed handoff, and boy, they're going to pay for it.
Wow.
It was a delay handoff there.
Didn't fool anybody.
Nope. Canada, the carry, and I tell you what.
59 made the tackle.
Isaac Young, the sophomore, going to be a good one in Mayo.
Yeah, he closed in on that, just locked it up.
7:35 to play. Third down and long for Lafayette. What do you do here, offensive guru Mike Meehan?
Well, they've been real lucky with their crossing patterns. They've hit that successfully several times. Now, it's 3rd and 11. That doesn't leave you much. I don't think Coach Shaw is going to pull out the old hook and lateral or anything like that in a scrimmage. He doesn't want to show it. So I would say they'd go back to what they were doing best.
Cooper's the slot. They fired down the left side. There's a flag. It is caught. But they're going to say he was out of bounds, but there is a penalty marker down. Maybe he was forced out.
Well, it was either a defensive interference or offensive interference, probably defense. High school referees, for some reason, do not like to call offensive interference.
Newcomb, I think, is going to be credited with that. He's going to be pushed down of bounds. I think that's going to be in Lafayette's favor, Coach, with 7 minutes to play. And Mayo leading. Mayo, after trailing 20-7 going into this into the third, they've got 14 unanswered here to lead at 21-20. Been a really good high school football scrimmage game, Coach.
It
a lot of folks saying the scrimmage game. That's right. The regular season gets underway next Friday with they call it week 0, but a lot of teams play in week 0.
A lot of teams do, and take that bye later in the season a lot of times too, which is, really smart. I know Henry Clay for years has taken a bye on the last game of the year.
I'm looking forward to seeing Henry Clay, Coach. We will see them in a couple of weeks over in the Bluegrass Bowl when they take on that good Ryle team.
The guru, Sam Simpson, been around here forever. The longest tenured coach in Fayette County by far.
Catholic will play St. X in the second game of that Bluegrass Bowl. Both games right here on PrepSpin. White Greer Maggard game of the week. UK Sports Medicine Crown Trophy. Thanks to all of our sponsors here.
What's the hold up here?
7 minutes to play.
These officials have really slowed this down.
Yeah, it's been, you can tell it's a scrimmage game, Coach, because it has not been moving very smoothly.
Yeah, the officials have slowed the game down quite a bit.
7 minutes. C gives now bouncing outside to 20 and down to the 19. Nice run there. That was a nice carry there by Cooper, Jalen Cooper.
Who is the running back in the backfield whose shoes look like he stepped in a can of DuPont yellow paint. Here he's coming off the field now.
That is 29, and let's find out who that is. That is T.J. Robinson.
Mr. Robinson has been active. I was watching him to see if they give him an opportunity to carry the football.
See, he's got twin receivers to the bottom, twins to the top, second and only about 2 inside the 20-yard line. Let's see if C can engineer this and put Lafayette back on top here late in the game. C gives back inside, running. Ball comes out of there. Mail scoops it, and here they go the other way. And with some speed, burning downfield is 24 for Mail, backup player, and he takes it all the way, Coach.
That was a heck of a play. That ball has bounced exactly up where he needed the ball, and that happened a couple times.
That is 5'2", 140-pound Dalen Wimsatt, a sophomore. 5'2", 140.
Well, Dalen has a highlight film there. Nice job. Scooped it up. There was one player for Lafayette who had an opportunity to make the tackle, couldn't quite get his feet, couldn't dive for the shoestring, and the male player absolutely outran him to the end zone.
So Lafayette, who dominated the first half, and Mail has dominated the second half. With the scoop and score there by the 5'2", 140-pound sophomore Dalen Wimsatt. How about that, Wimsatt?
He's a little guy, but he had those feet moving, didn't he? It's a lot of fun watching these guys. Yeah, it's a lot of fun watching these younger players. Just think, you parents out there and granddads and grandpas.
Well, the extra point will be no good as they botch it as Cheshire tries to look like he was trying to get rid of it there, but it is thwarted. And so with 6 minutes to play, it is Mail 27. And, Coach, remember, it was 20-7 Lafayette, so that is a 20-0 spread here, 20 unanswered here by Mail to lead 27-20.
But again, it just, to me, it shows depth and confidence. Mail has a little more depth at all the key positions, and a lot of confidence from being a state champion undefeated state champion last year.
Yep, 21-game winning streak.
But Lafayette's number ones, especially Gary, you pointed out their defense. They look strong.
Oh yeah, Lafayette's ones are stellar. So we need a break here, Mr. Warfield. You want a break? We'll keep it right here. 6 minutes to play, Coach. Lafayette will get the ball back, but they find themselves trailing now, 27-20.
Yeah, William Warfield, you would think that he needs like a doppelganger or something. He's up here with his video on all the computer equipment. Then he runs outside, goes down a couple steps where the camera is. Then he runs back. He's got to be the most conditioned tech person in the whole world.
And we had a lady just stopped in the box, and she said, "Where's the camera on top?" Yeah. She said, "Where's the camera on top of the press box?" And I said, "No, it's right there." So she said, "Oh, okay." Because it's such a good angle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great angle in this stadium.
So 27-20, Coach. Your thoughts? This is I've been impressed with both these football teams. I'm impressed with Mail's fortitude and stick-to-itiveness, and I've been impressed with the ones of Lafayette.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. It's been a tale of two halves, and I would say Mail definitely won the substitute player half.
Picked up by Lafayette at the 20, up to the 30, and upended up near the 30-yard line, and that was Newcomb, Teandre Newcomb. The sophomore, I believe he's a sophomore. Yeah, he's a really good sophomore, isn't he, Newcomb?
Right.
So Lafayette will have it up near the 30, Coach. 5:56 to play. We'll wrap things up after this one tonight, and we kicked off at 7 o'clock. That's right, we kicked off over 2.5 hours ago. But so it has been a very lengthy scrimmage, but nevertheless, these two teams have found out a lot about themselves tonight, haven't they, Coach?
They have. Actually, we've mentioned some names, new names, especially for Lafayette.
Oh, yeah, tons.
Oh, my goodness, who are going to be players this year.
Yeah.
A couple defensive players, Land or.
Yeah, you talking about the linebacker?
Oh, my gosh,
yeah.
Yes.
You talking about Lane, Brendan Lane?
Brendan Lane, absolutely.
Yeah, he's going to be a stud. C throws, and here's a flag down as it's thrown behind the receiver, penalty marker down.
I don't know what that could be. It didn't look like it was interference. Holding of some defensive holding, maybe?
Could be.
Number 13, Tyler C's pass intended for number 84.
Just interference, pushing it back.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what it was.
Pass interference.
High school football regular season gets underway next Friday night here on PrepSpin. We'll have Boone County at Lexington Catholic. Then Saturday we'll have Bryan Station in the Roy Kidd Bowl at Madison Central. And then the following Friday, the Bluegrass Bowl at Catholic. It'll be Henry Clay Rouse, St. X, and Catholic. And then that Saturday night, it will be the Rebel Bowl over at Boyle County, Coach. A lot of bowl games coming up here on PrepSpin.
I love bowl games. I love them.
First down for the Generals up near the 45. Quarterback C.
Missed the handoff.
Yeah, he missed the handoff. He's going to pay for it and be sacked back at the 40. Big play by Mail. That was Luke Chansey making that play for Mail for the defense with 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Boy, Lafayette just with this team, this particular offense in their coach, they really haven't been able to get much done, have they? This is probably their JV team.
Yeah, not at all. They've not moved the ball at all. Now, they do have a little passing attack here when they run the zone crossing patterns. Again,
of course, that fumble and recovery by Wimsat's a difference in this game. And oh man, all the way back inside the 30 now, C.
They really don't need to be throwing the ball here. They just can't defend the quarterback. They cannot protect him. They probably just need to run the football. I think we have a timeout here, and Lafayette's going to say, hey, guys, you know, we're trying to do things that we can't do with this group.
Yeah, I agree.
But we've seen some good players tonight, see some good plays, well-coached teams, clean scrimmage, by the way.
By the way, that was Harris, a 190-pounder, a sophomore, number 54, who made that nice defensive play there for Mail. Hard to, you know, we're already pretty much everybody that dressed tonight is going to play in the scrimmage game, and that's been the story for both teams with 4:57 to play. Coach, like I said, the Wimsat recovery of that fumble and taking it to the house, a difference in this game right now, 27-20 Mail.
It is, and the Mail score at the end of the first half there, that was a mistake by Lafayette secondary in their coverage, or the call, maybe not a mistake, maybe it was just the call, the coverage, or the luck of the throw. I mean, they had the right play called at the right time.
I think Thomas found Smith open on that one, didn't he, from about 20 yards out?
Yeah, it was a nice pass, and he was there.
No stats tonight. Of course, it's a scrimmage game, so but during the regular season, of course, we'll have stats for you. We'll also have our Crown Trophy star of the game each game. We'll start that next week, Coach. And also, when Coach is back with me, we'll start our UFOs.
That's right. We'll start that the first time back, first day I'm back, and looking forward to that.
That's the unheralded football overachievers.
Got to reward these guys, these people involved in a program that get very little credit for what they do.
Boy, after those 2 sacks, Coach, it's 3rd and 26 for Lafayette. 4 receivers out to the top for C. And he gives it now to Newcomb.
Oh, boy.
Newcomb not going anywhere, and he's going to be pulled down back inside the 30 as well.
Yeah, it's 4th and New Circle Road now.
Yeah. I think that's big Landon Young right there in front of you, Coach. Right there in front of you.
Yeah, it is.
Big Landon Young. Of course, be playing college football at Kentucky this fall. I think that young man's going to get some playing time.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll redshirt him. I think he'll.
No, I think he'll get some play. I think by mid-season he should be in pretty good shape to play major college football.
He's 6'7", 290. So pretty good size young fella. Good wrestler too, Coach, as you know. Won the state championship.
Yeah.
Pretty good shot putter. Multiple sports star here, and that's why he stuck around his whole senior year. Here's the punt. Mail will just watch it bounce. It takes a great Lafayette roll back inside to the 42-yard line. 4 minutes to play. I'll tell you what, I have been impressed, Coach, with the Mail second-teamers that have been in there for most. I'm talking the running back, Aaron Dean Thomas. I'm talking the receivers, and I'm talking Cheshire, the backup quarterback.
Absolutely.
Been impressed.
Cheshire's done a really good job of leading this football team, too. You know, he really has. I'm pretty impressed with that whole group. And, again, very impressed with Lafayette's #1 defense and Mail's #1 defense, too.
I'm sure late into this game we have lost a lot of our audience to the Olympics, which are going strong in Rio de Janeiro. But appreciate all you dedicated high school fans for checking out the scrimmage here tonight. Here's Mail with a handoff, 45, midfield, backup running back, and he takes it down to the 48-yard line. And
nice job.
That's the young man we were talking about for Mail. That's number 41, Joe Kersey.
Nice quick feet. Good explosion off the line of scrimmage.
Kersey with a nice run. And let's see, Coach, I think we do have, yes, we have our fourth quarterback in there for Mail, and that it's going to be Haynes, Ante Haynes. So Haynes in at quarterback. Gives the running back to the 43. That's Kersey again, and boy, good gang tackling there by the JV team of Lafayette, the backup players.
9 out of 11 players were in on that tackle. That's a pretty good job.
That's pretty good. Yeah, 9 out of 11.
That's what you want. You want these kids to prove themselves when they get a chance to play in the game. And
absolutely.
One way to do that is show aggressiveness and go to the ball.
If you're Lafayette and you do lose this game, you felt like you had command of it the first half. But, Coach, I tell you what, you got a lot of positives with your number ones.
Yeah.
Kersey running hard 40. There's a positive. Yeah, that young man's going to be a runner.
I like it.
Down to the 31-yard line. Kersey.
We got to watch out Lafayette. Now, I know Eric Shaw team, they're not going to sit back and handle this. They're going to have to get after the thing. He loves competition like this.
Yeah. Well, it's a scrimmage game, and that's what Eric Shaw said when he talked to William. He said, hey, key word here is scrimmage.
Now, you forget about the scrimmage. A year from now, nobody will remember this.
Ball goes to the quarterback. He's back, and he's going to dive on it back at the 45-yard line.
Gary, that's one of the first things you teach quarterbacks.
Yep.
Is when that ball goes over your head like that, fall on the ball. Nothing good can happen for you trying to pick it up.
Haynes is a sophomore, the quarterback. 2 minutes and 43 seconds to play. After this, we'll wrap it up. And, Coach, great being with you. And enjoy your trip next week, and I'll see you back in a couple of weeks with the Bluegrass Bowl over at Lexington Catholic.
I will, and I'll be in the hills of Western PA, and I'll try to get you on PrepSpin if I can find a signal.
Yes, sir. Just if you got Wi-Fi, you can get it.
Oh, geez, another one.
Ball way over the head of Haynes again. He goes back all the way to the 35-yard line. So I don't know who's snapping the ball, but that's something he might want to work on in practice Monday.
Yeah, you need to practice that snap. That's not been too good.
2:09 to play, and it's going to be third. And you said half of New Circle Road or half of Lexington?
Yeah, that's right.
This is literally third and about 35 with 2 minutes to play.
And if you were a coach, what play do you have in your playbook for this, Gary?
I got the old hook and ladder.
That's it, but you don't show it in the scrimmage, do you?
Might as well. Quick pass and incomplete.
One of the Lafayette players read it and tried to come up to intercept it. Would have been gone.
He would have been gone.
Who was that with the towel on him? Did you get his number?
Number 14,
20. We got to give him credit because he had an opportunity to.
Oh, that was a pick six.
27.
27 for Lafayette, Coach. That's Brian Jackson, a junior.
Well, Brian had a chance to make the highlight reel ESPN, but he didn't do it.
So fourth down, and that will force a punt by Mayo, but they'll take their sweet time here with 1:46 in the game. They lead 27-20. Coach, what do you take from this scrimmage for Lafayette and Mayo?
I honestly believe both these teams are going to be pretty good. Mayo's got a long way to go with experience, but it depends on their early season schedule. If they can, get some confidence in some games, they're going to be fine. They need their kicking game's not very good as far as their punting game.
Yeah, I agree. That ball will give Lafayette the ball, believe in Mayo territory with 1:38. Be interesting to see who Lafayette trots out there. Of course, they're not going to trot their starter Walker Wood out there, but
I don't think they'll. I think they're going to go with their JVs and
team.
just say, it was a good night. We didn't get anybody hurt.
Right.
We're healthy and we're strong and we're getting ready to start our season next week. Scrimmages are funny though. All these years I coached, your number one players. Right now, there's number one, number two players that are just begging coaches, put me in, coach, one more time, put me in. And, as a coach, you have to say, would you stop? You're not going back in the football game. Take your gear off, sit on the sideline.
Yep.
We got to look at these younger guys.
Well, that's a competitor. You want your guys to be competitors, and that's a competitor. And I'm saying we want to win even a scrimmage.
Yep.
C's back in at quarterback. Third quarterback tonight. Gives now to his running back and barreling over to the 43-yard line. That was Jalen Lawson, the ball carrier.
Nice little run by Brother Lawson. Pretty good.
So 1:20 to go here in this one, and barring Lafayette scoring here from the 43 with a minute 15. Looks like Mayo's going to win the scrimmage, but I'm not sure they won the war, so to speak.
Well, I don't think so.
I'm talking about when the ones went head-to-head, I'd give the edge to Lafayette
I would.
By a pretty good margin.
I would, too.
Second down. C. Fired left. He's got down there Newcomb, comes back, makes a grab at the 21-yard line right in front of number 21 of Mayo. So
could have been a little push-off there, though.
Absolutely.
You know? Could have been a little push-off, but I think it was close enough to let it go, tell you the truth. Wouldn't this be great if this ended in a tie?
Well, 52 seconds, and, when you got targets like Newcomb out there, he showed what he can do if you even coming back from the ball for the ball. But, of course, he had big-time size there on the male defender who was Jaden Rankin, who's 5'3". Newcomb stands about 6'2". They throw it Newcomb's way again, and he's going to know it's thrown in behind. Here's a flag down. There was some contact in the end zone. There was a flag.
Offensive interference. I guarantee he missed it the last time. That official did. He'll call it this time.
Wait for the white cap to tell us. Yep, you're exactly right, Coach Meehan. Good call.
Yep, that official knew he missed it the first time. He hesitated on his flag and didn't throw it. This time he saw it. He said, no, you're not getting away with it twice.
So that 3rd and 1 now becomes first down, and see what they change it up to here, Coach. It's going to be depends on what they mark. They're going to mark it at the 36. They've got to get down to the 11. So it'll be 1st and 25 from there, right?
1st and 25. With 47 seconds, that doesn't leave you much, does it?
C. Back, fires left side. Newcomb down there again. Newcomb with the grab. The 5, does he get it in? No, he's at about the 1-yard line. Newcomb with the catch. Lafayette sidelines thought he might have gotten in, but he's at the 1-yard line, and that's where Lafayette will have it. But I tell you what, you just can't match up a 5'3" guy with a 6'2" guy, even though it is a scrimmage,
no,
Coach.
You can't. That's what it was. He just threw the ball up, didn't he? Threw the ball out.
Well, he knew the 6'2" guy's going to win that jump ball every time.
Yep. But I think the official was right to call it down on the 1, don't you?
What's that?
He didn't want none of that lineman. Congratulations, Bump.
Timeout, Lafayette.
Timeout, Lafayette with 35 seconds. They're trying to tie this thing up here. Coach, I'm not sure about a scrimmage. Will they let it end in a time?
Absolutely. When the time's up, the time's up.
So we'll step out the White Greer Maggard game of the week, 27-20. Lafayette threatening at the 1-yard line of Mayo.
Woo!
I'm not happy with my teeth. They're not straight enough.
Let me fix them for you.
No. You are not White Greer and Maggard.
I'm sort of like White Greer and Maggard. I'm local, love smiles, love to fix things.
No. Sorta you isn't you. White Greer and Maggard, where a beautiful smile is just the beginning.
Lafayette, Newcomb tried to stretch it out, Coach, but he could get it to the 1. Let's see what they do here at the 1-yard line. C is the quarterback.
No backs.
No running backs.
Wow.
They're both in slots behind the O-line. C. Snap. C goes in and tries to charge it in. Does he? And he does. Touchdown. C. He got behind a big lineman and pushed his way in, and it's 27-26 Mayo. But let's see what's Lafayette going to do here, Coach. You think they're going to go for 2 in the win?
Oh, heck, I don't know.
It's a scrimmage.
It's a scrimmage.
You know?
Go for either. Okay, there's another. Oh, man. There's all these little nuances that you got to think about. The one thing here, there's a standard rule, and that is you want to play to beat your opponents, but you want to play to keep your scrimmages. You don't want to make another coach mad that you're scrimmaging.
Well, I mean,
because you want that guy year to year to year.
They've played this just like a game, a regular game. But with the quarters and score and everything. And the kicking, they've kicked extra points. They've kicked field. They've played it just like a regular season game. And coach, if it's a regular season game, don't you go for the win at home? You go for the tie on the road. That's what I've been told. I go for two. I go for the win on the at home. But here at Lafayette, I go for 2 and the win. Well, there's still 30 seconds. That's depending on if Mayo could return one or not.
Yeah, they got the speed to do it.
Yes.
The skill. It's a good,
interesting scrimmage game, isn't it, Ben?
I like this. Yeah, there's some little nuances here that we're not used to seeing. I like it. These players are really happy, though. They've gone through camp probably. They've gone through 2-a-days. They got their first scrimmage under their belt. They're probably pretty happy right now. Here we go, Gary.
So it looks like Lafayette will go for the 2 at home and the win. He does have a running back, coach, and that's 35, coach, excuse me, for Lafayette. That is Lawson, his lone back. Motion by Newcomb. They give to Lawson back left side. Lawson going to get in? Yes, he does. No, they said he was run out just shy. I thought he got in, coach. Officials said no, he was run out just shy of the goal line. The sideline telling the official that one official indicated good 2-point conversion, and the other official right on top of it said no, he was out just at the 1-foot line.
Yeah,
so
they're not going to overrule the official that was right at the play.
It's a scrimmage, it's a scrimmage game, but the coach.
That's why you don't go for 2.
Yeah. Well, I had the glasses on him, coach, and I thought he hit the pylon. I thought he just got in.
They're calling the game right there.
Yeah, that's going to be the game, and it'll be Mayo winning at 27-26. That'll be a final, and of course,
wow,
Lafayette thought they got in, but again, great job by William Warfield and the PrepSpin folks. Join us next Friday for our opening regular season game. It'll be Boone County, Lexington Catholic. Coach Meehan, looking forward to working with you in a couple of weeks over at the Bluegrass Bowl. Great work, William Warfield. Super job as always. The final, it is Louisville Mayo 27. Coach, you got to get your final thoughts. Lafayette 26. What a scrimmage.
What a scrimmage. It was fun to do it. We've never done scrimmages before, and this was a good one. I think both coaches agreed that they were going to play like a competitive game.
Sure did.
Right down to the end. I mean, come on, Gary. Their backup, their third teamers fought like crazy out there.
Sure did.
These kids wanted to look at it, and those of you out there watching PrepSpin that are parents, grandparents, and uncles, you can be proud of your guys.
Yeah.
Really proud.
You can also go back, and this game will be immediately archived, right, Mr. Warfield? So you can go back and watch it almost tonight as soon as we sign off here. But, again, the Mayo Bulldogs come from 27 down, Coach, by 13, and they win at 27-26. Lafayette had the last-ditch 2-point conversion there. The kid was just pushed out, they say, inside the 1-foot line. So Mayo wins at 27-26. And also we'll be back here on September 2nd when Trinity out of Louisville will come in here to take on Lafayette September 2nd for that big game here on PrepSpin. Next Friday it'll be Lexington Catholic at home against Boone County. Next Saturday we'll be at the Roy Kidd Bowl. For the King of Stream, William Warfield, and for Mike Meehan, this is Gary Ball. Thanks for watching tonight from Ishmael Stadium. 27-26, Mayo wins in a scrimmage over Lafayette. Join us next Friday for high school football, the White Greer Maggard Game of the Week.